Good morning, good afternoon, or good, what did I say? Morning, afternoon, evening. Welcome. Glad to have you. Welcome. Hi. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? A little bit of a weird time. I know we don't normally get going around this time, but I mean, hey, better late than never, right? Basically, me and the missus are just like trying to get into our groove with the new baby, and we found that early morning she needs a little more assistance for sure, just because 2 babies, I mean, it's a lot. So instead of just like getting up, going downstairs and starting the stream, we're experimenting with getting up. I can help with the kids for the first chunk of the day, and then once they go down for their afternoon nap, I can come on stream and hang out. Eventually, hopefully within like a month or 2, we can get back into the regular groove. But for now, I think it works. Rocky needs extra pay for modding at 7 a.m. But normally you'd be modding at like 3 a.m. Why do you need more now to work in normal human hours? That's funny. That's funny. Mark, glad to have you. I'm glad you can make it. That's badass. I love seeing people that are popping in for the first time. That's awesome. That's baller. Dare I say, poggers. Dare I say. I dared, and I said it. Oh man, I was trying to come up with what the topic was going to be for the stream today, and honestly, after like perusing some gaming news and stuff, I'm like, there's just not really much going on, honestly. There's like a lot of crap with like Final Fantasy 16. There were memes going around that it was causing PS5s to overheat. That was like a whole thing. Except it looks like the guy that was doing it just had his PS5 incorrectly stored. So of course it was going to overheat. So I don't know. New viewer man, I swear it was English. New viewer man, making my way through your long form content, loving it so far. I'm glad, my friend. That's awesome. Glad to have you. Give me news stream with no news. Well, like there's some little stuff. Of course, there's always little stuff, but like big. Oh, this is the thing we're gonna spend as our like tentpole topic for today. There's just not really much. I've got a 3-year-old girl myself and gets better and better even for a wonderful few years. Oh yeah, no, Lockie, he's been frustrated today and yesterday, just acting out, but he's also almost 2. And there's a term, they call them the terrible twos, or they call them teenagers, which is funny. But basically when kids turn roughly 2, give or take a year, basically, they just become little balls of thunder. And that's where he's at. Arsenal go-to dad jokes. Yeah, I do. Phipps, Caleb Phipps, who pops in every once in a while, he's got some crazy good dad jokes for sure. Like for real. My brain is just fried today. How do I stop myself from getting hyped for Starfield? Honestly, there were a good number of people that replied to that video I did on Friday who were like, okay, my hype is sufficiently squashed. I don't, or quashed. I don't think it's squashed is the term. But I don't like, I think it's fine to be excited for Starfield. I think hype makes you stupid, which is why we have that t-shirt for it. Because if you really believe something, you should make a t-shirt out of it. But I like, while I think that hype generally makes you susceptible to being conned. I think being excited is fine, so long as you accept and admit that you are being perhaps a little irrational with that excitement. But that's fine. Again, so long as you're aware of it. The problem, like, with excessive hype is that often people just lose sight. They get blinders on. And then when anybody comes in and it's like, hey, maybe there's going to be potential problems, or maybe this thing is a reason to not think that this is going to be the perfect game, let's level it out a little bit. Once you find yourself getting like ticked off, then we have a problem. You know, that's when we have a problem. Very, very low expectations for Starfield. Well, I've actually gone back and I've started from scratch. I'm only like an hour and a half in, but I started from scratch trying some No Man's Sky. And I mean, clearly Starfield has a lot of inspiration that's being taken from No Man's Sky. Everything from the mining laser to the procedural tech that they're using, it's all clearly inspired by that, right? I don't think that's even controversial at this point. They're basically doing No Man's Sky mixed with a classical Bethesda style game, and that can work fine. I mean, nobody's doubting that, but they're adding in their old school Bethesda style game design and narrative and consequence and stuff, and that's fine. But just to like show you kind of what we're dealing with, there's just a lot of little stuff that they're not doing in Starfield that's done here that I want to just point out, because I'm not sure if my point's been made, so I'm just going to continue beating the horse to death. You know, Orion's belt is just a waste of space. Only 3 stars. What that? I mean, that was a little cringe, but I'll give you credit. That was pretty funny. So, like, for example, they've said, Todd Howard was like, there's no vehicles on planets. There's only going to be running on foot, and there's the jetpack, or what he called the boost pack. He didn't even call it the jetpack. So he's like, yeah, you run and then you can boost, which you can do in No Man's Sky for sure. But the point is, like, in No Man's Sky, you land on this planet. How this would work, basically, I don't actually know what the best way of doing this would be. Catalog, guide, log. I don't know. Basically, we would land here on this planet, right? And then we'd go, and our ship is here. If we wanted to run off and get on top of that little cliffside over there, in Starfield, you'd have to run on foot and get there, or boost there. In No Man's Sky, you can just hop in your ship and then take off and fly over there. Right? Now this, for some people, seemingly is not that big of a deal. That in Starfield, you can't do this. But to me, it seems like kind of a big deal. Because that little maneuver I just did, when I knew I wanted to come over here and explore this area. Oh, there's my base. That's where I just came from. That little bitty maneuver, you wouldn't be able to do in Starfield. And to me, that sucks if you're going to give me a planet-sized planet and map to explore. Right? So I was just there. See how quickly I was able to come over here to continue exploring this planet?
Patron super chatted $9.99. Any chance of you playing Star Citizen anytime soon? I got into it after watching some of your older videos. It's actually really fun, but not for everyone.
Yeah, I do think I will be popping in and trying it again, because apparently they did a good amount of improvements to it. After the 3.18 patch, apparently it's much better now. So there's also cool stuff like this. Like look at this terrain manipulator. If I want to dig tunnels in No Man's Sky, I can dig tunnels in the planet. Like, is that not super cool? Like, That's crazy. You can just go onto a planet and dig tunnels. Like, all sorts of stuff. All sorts of crazy stuff. Can you get to the core? Probably not. You probably, just like in Minecraft, you probably reach a point where it's just like the bedrock and you can't go any further, which is fine. I mean, whatever. But just imagine if they had something like this also in Starfield. People would lose their minds. But like, we could make our own makeshift little staircase. Oh, yep. See, this is the bedrock. Like of the planet's surface or whatever. But you see, we can just dig and dig and dig, make our own little tunnel. Eventually we're gonna pop out, right? I gotta go up. Gotta go up. I'm gonna find my way out. Oh my god, it's a hellscape. Oh my god. Oh my god. Just okay, now I'm getting claustrophobic. I'm freaking out a little. Oh, there it is.
Dayan super chatted $6.46. Do you still remember the old Prey 2 trailer Bethesda dropped years ago? Man, that game looked fun.
The old Prey 2 trailer. I'm not sure if I do remember that. If I saw it, I probably would recognize it. Probably, I imagine. But anyway, like, we can look that up in a minute if you remind me. I can do that. But with all of this stuff, like, there's, when people say Starfield's doing stuff that no game has ever done before, I'm like, well, most of the stuff people are excited for has been done elsewhere. And I think probably better. Granted, No Man's Sky took years and years to get there, but still, I think it deserves a little bit of credit for being able to do all this stuff. And like, look at this. So if I want to just take off, I can just go straight up. Little bit of stutter, but boom. Look where I am. I'm in space. So now, if I want to go anywhere else on this planet, I can do that. In Starfield, you would not be able to do this. Okay, now, I know, Luke, shut up about Starfield. Like, dear God, I get it. I totally get it. But the reason I'm showing you this is just because I think a lot of people probably have just checked out of No Man's Sky and Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous because they either are more niche games or because they, let's be real, kind of deserve the negative media attention that they have. No Man's Sky because it launched horribly broken, and Star Citizen because it's never going to be finished. But still, like, this is wildly impressive what you can do in these games. And this game technically launched, what, 7 years ago? So to me, it's a big deal that this stuff is not in the game, but I understand that other people might not give a crap and it might not matter to them.
Stefan Konstantin Dumitrash super chatted $5.44. Land, sea and air vehicles will come with some paid DLC later, like NPCs in FO76. The game is just not fully ready. Be cautious and no pre-orders winking face.
Maybe I've heard people like theorize that it's going to be coming in a DLC later, and frankly, I don't think it is. Okay, and let me just be real. The reason I don't think it is because previously, when we've seen, let's just go to a different planet. Let's just leave. Previously, Bethesda has not been able to get vehicles working, not because they don't want to, but because it's just too difficult, I suppose, with their engine and kit and stuff. And so they just don't. Let's just pull studio. There we go. So I don't think that stuff's missing from Starfield because they're holding it back for a DLC to make extra money. I think it's that they just can't get vehicles working in their engine with everything else they're doing. And granted, they're doing a lot of other simulation stuff that you're not doing in a game like No Man's Sky, which is fair. but it's still just it's still a trade-off. Basically, it's still a trade-off. But this is what procedural generated planets are like. A lot of the time, they're just kind of weird, barren.
Jackie the Newt Suit super chatted $4.99.
Jeez, thank you guys for all of the super chats.
Show them freighters in No Man's Sky and about how you can own a fleet.
Oh, I'm too early to show that, but I could pull up the trailer. I could totally do that. Yeah, there's so much crap in this game. It's crazy. Oh, hello, Clarice. Voila. See, how cool is that? Nobody's ever been to this planet before. How cool is that? It's pretty. Give them that. Yeah, I can pull up the fleet thing. There's just so much stuff in this game. But again, I don't think people are probably aware of it, just because a lot of people, after the initial release of a title, if it has problems, it justifiably usually is just kind of shed. It's shed from the common discourse. People stop talking about it, stop addressing it, and it's probably fair, but still. No Man's Sky fleets. I almost typed feats. What's a quick guide kind of thing, just to show people what's here.
And we are back in No Man's Sky with a brand new guide. Today we're going to go over everything you need to know about creating, managing, and using a fleet. If you want to become a battle fleet commander, this is going to be the video for you.
Yeah, you can be a battle fleet commander. Is that not sane? Like, what? I tried to pick up No Man's Sky a few times after launch, but it still feels like it drags its feet. It is a good game now, just not really for me. I totally, 1000% agree that the game has one of the slowest starts of a game this epic that I've seen. Just like painfully slow. And I think it's a remnant of the like starter tutorial from when the game first launched. I think that's mainly why it's so clunky, but like, yeah, I totally agree. Getting into No Man's Sky is difficult because the tutorials are super sluggish. It drags its feet like crazy. But once you actually get in it, it's pretty solid. And honestly, that's also true of Star Citizen. Star Citizen, if you don't know basically how to play it, or if you don't have somebody there explaining it to you, it can be so crazy confusing. Like, you're like, okay, so now I have to go to this terminal. I have to file an insurance claim. It's like, am I at the DMV or am I playing a video game, you know? Elite Dangerous 2, at least with like Star Citizen, their excuse was that the game's updating so often, it didn't make sense for them to create like a super complex tutorial, which I can understand. That makes sense if you're still in development. Okay, I buy that. But No Man's Sky has no excuse to start as slow as it does. At least in my opinion.
Jackie the Newt Suit super chatted $4.99. Exploring, fleets, pirating, quests, all from a game with wonky quadruped creatures that walked on two legs and broken gameplay. Comeback of the life.
Yeah, it's wild that they managed to pull this off. I also think that the UI probably needs a bit of an overhaul. It's really annoying to have to go into like two separate menus and pull different materials together to be able to craft stuff. It's just kind of clunky.
NPC frigates and get these salvage modules from them. You'll get like 5 in 10 minutes easily. And in order to build one of these, you will require tritium as well as the hydrogen. You can get 50-ton frigate fuels, 100 all the way up to 200. So I'm going to unlock a few of these. These are temporary upgrades that, as I was saying, you can apply to each of the expeditions. Million. Otherwise, you don't have to worry too much about it. Even if you find a C class, a B, or an A, don't pay too much attention to it, because once you get these and send them into expedition, they will level up. And as you send them into expeditions, they will level up to the maximum of S class. And this is probably my favorite feature about the fleet in general. What I recommend you guys over here to do is to get a balanced fleet. So don't always go for random frigates. Try to have a balanced number of frigates that excel in certain areas. Every now and then, after purchasing a few of these, check where you are lacking. If you're lacking in combat, exploration, industrial, or trade, buy the ones that you are missing. Anyway, after doing
It's just crazy. There's so much to that game. So many free updates too. That's what's even crazier. So many free updates. You want me to send me news via chat or want me to make a doc? Oh, jeez. Just slam my ear cup into the mic. I don't know. What kind of news items do you have? I guess link them in chat to start, and if there's enough, we can start putting them in a doc, but we can do that. Do I have like... No, I'm not. Oh, God. Oh, God. Now I have to be careful, guys, because if I have the wide angle on screen when I'm typing in like passwords and email addresses and stuff, you guys are going to be able to see it. Like if I do this and I'm typing, people are able to look at where my fingers are going and then pull like email addresses, passwords just from that. Like how annoying is that? Can't even type in peace anymore. Streamer problems, right? Oh wait, is there... Dude, I'm a sucker for like hype videos. Wait, what was that? Where was it? It just disappeared. Oh no, I lost it. Damn it. There was like a video called like No Man's Sky or not No Man's Sky. Starfield does it again. Blows us away. But now it's gone. I tabbed out and now it's gone. Oh wait, they did it. I think I found it.
All right, guys.
What is this? Starfield keeps getting even better. Should we just see this?
Wes here. Welcome to the channel. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that Starfield is a game that I've been thinking about quite a lot. I love BGS games, and I've been following Starfield since the trademark was first discovered 10 years ago. So to think that we are less than 3 months away from the global launch is absolutely crazy to me. Today, we're going to discuss some of Starfield's biggest secrets, because like most Bethesda games, there is a lot of unknown. And for a game as vast as Starfield, it's an absurd thing to consider how little we know about the game. Well, lucky for you guys, we just got some exciting gameplay updates and huge details from the man himself, Todd Howard, the director of Starfield. Now, in a recent interview with...
Is it literally just... It really is just like a quick little bullet pointed thing of that Todd Howard interview. And then it looks like he just doesn't talk about any of the negatives. He just... Oh, God. Yeah, I don't think I have the brain capacity to do that. I just don't think I do. Just too much. Oh, the cinematic trailer. Prey 2, E3 2011. Oh, man. E3 2011. E3, dude. I miss E3. I'm gonna eat my Uncrustable. Ooh.
You wired me away. Can hit me with the hand of broken nail. You tied my lead and pulled my...
Is this gonna get us struck?
Blood began to boil.
Probably. This looks so badass.
But I'm gonna break. I'm gonna break my rusty cage and run.
Kill you. Finally tracked me down, huh? Somebody shoot this motherfucker.
Gonna break my rusty cage and run.
Get out of my way!
Target has teleport capability.
To be fair, if it launched in like 2013 or 14, like it would not have looked anything like this. But thematically, it looks badass, dude. Whatever happened to this?
Radway enabled. Target is escaping.
When the forest
I felt that one.
Capture device enabled.
No, no, wait! I pay double, triple! They're using
looking for their bones, and it's raining ice picks on your steel shore.
Homing rockets enabled.
I'm gonna break my rusty cage.
Target identified.
That looks awesome. That looks freaking awesome. Whatever happened to it? Here, Jacob, let's turn this into a stream clip. Let's do a quick little intro thing, okay? Since I didn't really introduce that well, so you can take this, put it at the beginning of the thing. We'll watch the trailer and then I'll investigate a little. Let's do that. While I'm doing this, Rocky, would you be able to find the gameplay leak or the gameplay thing from this and link that in chat as well? Let's do that. So, Prey 2 announced at E3 2011, where you play as Killian Samuels, which is a phenomenal name. Let's just give him credit where credit's due. And you're a bounty hunter chasing down targets, I suppose is what it is. Now, this eventually was like shut down. This never saw the light of day, which is a bummer because this thing looks pretty good. Now you play the trailer, Jacob. Boom. And then we can loop right forward. Maur, you should see the canceled Tomb Raider Ascension concept trailer. The idea would have been so much better than Tomb Raider reboot. Oh, really? Tomb Raider Ascent. That sounds familiar. I might have seen it before. Tomb Raider. Early footage. Okay. I have it pulled up, but pause. We can do that next. What happened to Prey 2? Okay. Okay, everybody. I just did the gameplay trailer. Yeah, and if they had gameplay for Prey 2, just link that. So I just went to the almighty source of all truth and knowledge, Wikipedia, and they have a breakdown of roughly what happened. For unstated reasons, Human Head had quietly stopped development of Prey 2 near the end of 2011 after having spent nearly 2 years of development on the title. Reinhardt, who I'm assuming is like the game's, one of the game's directors or something. Oh yeah, he is the director. Okay. He said that at this point, quote, it was very close to an alpha state with all major content pieces represented, and that they were at the point where as developer would start working more closely with the publisher to determine what elements to keep or trim to progress further. Norm something of Human Head believed they had added much more content and technical innovations to the title as to make it, quote, one of the best looking games of the then current console generation. Another employee, Jason Blair, who had worked on narrative elements of Prey 2, said that the reasons for ending development were political and petty. Weird. Okay. Issues regarding the development were not reported to the public at large, and due to a lack of direct information from either Bethesda or Human Head, many considered Prey 2 to have entered development hell and creating speculation at its fate. In March of 2012, rumors of Prey 2's cancellation began to circle. Neither ZeniMax or Bethesda commented on this rumor. Instead, the following month, they stated the game would be delayed and failed to make the 2012 release date, though no new release window was given, Bethesda stated, quote, the game's development had not progressed satisfactorily, and that, quote, the game did not currently meet their quality standards. Further concerns were raised when Bethesda removed Prey 2 from their website. That's always like, oh God, when they remove it from the site of like upcoming projects. They removed it in August of 2012, stating to Eurogamer that for the present they needed to focus on upcoming titles, which suggests Prey 2 is just not upcoming. It's just, it's not a thing. Just everybody shut up, basically. Kotaku reported in May of 2013 that development on Prey 2 had moved to Austin, Texas, where all games go to die. I mean, when you think about it. We just recently have had Fallout 76 from BGS Austin, and then we had Redfall from Arcane Austin. It just seems like Austin is cursed. And that was under a division of Arcane Studios. Makes sense. Same guys who at the time were completing their work on Dishonored. Kotaku's report claimed that because of the rumored split between Human Head and Bethesda had been, quote unquote, shopping around for a developer to pick up the title. So like they basically just ran into development trouble, and then like some developers were saying it was petty and stupid why it got canceled. Pete Hines said that, quote, it was a game we believed in, but we never felt that it got to where it needed to be. We never saw a path to success if we finished it. It wasn't up to our quality standard, and we decided to cancel it. It's no longer in development. That wasn't an easy decision, but it's one that won't surprise many folks given that we've been talking about it. Human Head Studios is no longer working on it. It's a franchise we still believe we can do something with. We just need to see what that something is. So they just walked away from it. I wonder what it was like, dude. I wonder how bad could it have been? There's gameplay, allegedly. Let's see. Prey 2 demo. So this is the gameplay that they shared around that same time on the 360. Dude, for a 360 title, this really isn't that bad. Playing as like your standard bounty hunter. Okay, so you have targets, you run around. It's crazy to think that this is already like well over a decade old. Artistically, it looks gorgeous. It somehow manages to live up to the same like visual standard of the trailer. Of course, not as like high fidelity, but in terms of art style, it's not one of those like totally separate things where you see the trailer and then you see the gameplay and you're like, what is this? Is this the same thing? I mean, honestly, pretty good for a 2011, 2012 game. Like definitely from that era, but not bad.
Your reputation precedes you. They said you were stupid. I'll give you the info, but you can expect me to call in a favor down the line. Now, lower your gun. Leave me.
Dude, I mean, this looks pretty good and it seems to be running. Now, this guy's saying like, how did this not meet Bethesda's quality standards? These can always be a little deceptive, right? Like this is a vertical slice. This is probably something they developed specifically for like E3 2011? They just showed it. But yeah, E3 2011. So this was probably something that was like very carefully crafted and arranged and scripted in a lot of cases. It's not necessarily just like a straight hour segment or 20-minute segment of the game. So it could be that like this is all the game was, and after they showed it off at E3 2011, they're like, yeah, well, how do we fill out another 10 hours? Like this is all we have. It's just this, just going and grabbing guys. And I mean, You never know. They can show you a really compelling 15 minutes. Oh God, dude, did you see that? Oh no. I mean, he's a alien body shield. That's going to happen. So you just never know. A 20-minute cut of a game can look awesome, but you have to ask yourself, like, if that's all you get and it's that 20-minute thing repeated for 15 hours, is it still awesome? And in some cases, it's just not. It just doesn't work. And so you never know. But like, I guess I tend to lean more into the philosophy that big business guys don't like canceling stuff if they can help it. They would much rather shove it out and recover a little bit of that investment rather than just canceling it quickly. So when I see a million or multi-billion dollar corporation cancel a project that's been in the works for years and years, and they say it wasn't working, usually I would lean into they're probably seeing something that really worried them and that they thought could harm their reputation, or it just would sell terribly. The other piece of it is if you spend, like back in the day, if you spent like $15-20 million on the development of a game, you would also have to spend millions on marketing. And so you might look at the numbers and be like, oh, we could probably recover our development costs, but you also have to recover marketing costs. And it could be something where it's like they just can't make the math work out, and so they just walk away before they dig themselves in even deeper. So that could be it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm naive or something, but I just tend to, if I don't know details, I tend to just go with the idea that there probably was a good reason why they wanted to cancel it. If they spent years and millions developing it, for them to walk away at that point, there must have been a really good reason. Sometimes, granted, sometimes there's not. Sometimes they just cancel a really good, promising game when they shouldn't have. But usually, like, shocker, like big money business guys who only care about the bottom line, they don't want to just waste money and cancel stuff if they could potentially recover some of the investment. So for them to cancel usually shows that something was really, really wrong. Have you seen the state of Crash Team Rumble? Oy vey, not good. Hope you and the family are well, by the way. Oh yeah, we're doing great, Carl. And I have not seen it. I think they sent me a code to play it, but I don't think I've, I don't think I haven't tried it yet. But I haven't seen anything on it either. Yeah, this is allegedly running on a 360, but this is also 2011. And there were many stories. Was it Killzone? I forget which Killzone it was. But do you guys remember that Killzone trailer? I think it was on the PS3. It was like their proof of concept trailer. Yeah, this thing. These are the same guys that would go on to make Horizon. But they showed this trailer at E3 2005. And this was like, it was basically a pre-rendered cinematic running in engine, but it was a pre-rendered cinematic. Like each frame took multiple minutes to render. This was not something running in real time, but there were some wires crossed or some miscommunication where at the Sony showcase, they announced this as running on the PS3. And that caused, of course, mass freakouts where everybody was like, no way. Because in 2005, there's no way this is running in real time. Like, come on, dude. But that's what they announced it as, and it caused everybody to freak out. In the like making of Horizon Zero Dawn documentary, they walked through this and they were explaining how terrified they all were when they heard the guy announce on stage, this is running in real time on PlayStation 3. They're like, the hell it is? What? No, it's not. Who told him that? And to this day, I don't think they know how that happened. It was probably just like somebody told the marketing team, yeah, all these trailers I'm going to link you and give you. Back then, probably on a CD. All of these trailers are running on the PS3. So we'll put this in our PS3 showcase section of the show. And he's like, okay. And it could have been really, really bad. But whenever I see like this is running on the 360, especially back then, you gotta not immediately jump into it because you just never know. You never know. Things were shady back in the day, dude. They got away with some weird stuff. Literally the what meme? Yeah, exactly. 2005 to 2012, when every game had a color palette of gray, brown, beige, and more gray. Dude, for real, dude. I know, right? Is that my old vlogging camera? No, this is actually, it's an old camera. I bought this like from Best Buy right before I left. Maybe right after I left. I've had this thing for years and years, but I bought it off of the little display thing. So, you know, you go around and they have all the cameras mounted to those like locks, and you can take it up and you can try the camera out and stuff. This was on display there for like a year and a half, 2 years before I bought it. And some dummy used, I'm going to try to catch the reflection. You kind of see that? How it's not like an even surface? That weird like line that's right there. Some dummy, yeah, there you can kind of see it. Oh God, this break my brain. That's not smudges. That's just what the screen's like. But it's because some dummy used Lysol wipes. And if you've ever, like, please tell me you don't do this, but you don't use Lysol wipes on any screen that you care about. Otherwise, it like wrecks the films. It destroys it. I remember I knew somebody in high school that on their like little iPhone 3GS or whatever, they didn't have a screen protector. That wasn't really a thing yet. And he would use Lysol wipes to clean it whenever it would get like gross. Never do that. Never. It will kill the surface, the nonstick coating. It'll just destroy it. And that's what happened here is they used that when they were disinfecting it at the end of the day. So this thing has been wiped down with Lysol wipes many times, but thankfully they weren't wiping down the like sensor inside the camera. So it's fine. It also, because it was on pretty much nonstop for like a year and a half before I even got it, it has a good number of dead pixels, but you can only really see the dead pixels when it is trying to record in 4K. When it does that, or when you take a full res picture, there's all sorts of little like hot and stuck pixels. So all over the frame, you'll just see like red and white specks. It's pretty horrible. Honestly, this thing would have been retired a very, very long time ago and would be sitting in some recycling bin somewhere. However, I use it for like recording 1080p 60 video, which is super, like this camera is giga overkill for that. But because it's like basically a derpy derp, very, very old camera that probably should be retired, it can still do that and it's fine. So I'm actually going to be replacing this, or I guess this camera is going to be swapped out with this camera. Same body, so they're the same camera, just this one's in really rough shape and that one is like a refurbished. And then that camera is actually, little hint, hint, nudge, nudge, that actually is going to go over to a new set that I am building for what will probably be an entirely new channel for a different type of content. OnlyFans, no. I realize that's what it sounds like I'm describing. Like, yeah, that camera's gonna go into a separate room where I'm gonna make new content. Where no, not OnlyFans. Basically, you guys know I go into like all of this stuff with like finance all of the time on stream, and it annoys some people and other people really, really like it. I have for like a year or two wanted to just say screw it and then start up like a separate little spin-off show where we only post like once a week or twice a week, but like really straightforward content that's not time pressing, but separate finance related content where I don't have to ramble about this kind of thing. Now, we hope to not go like super, super dry with anything, but most of it's probably going to be like reacting to really, really stupid things that we find, like stupid finance bros on TikTok and Twitter. Like this guy. We'd be reacting to this guy. Let me show you. Okay? This thing's hilarious.
What if I told you there was a way to buy things like this $100,000 watch without spending a single dollar of your own money, using business credit like this?
Now, how many felonies do you think he's about to accidentally confess to? I'll give you a hint. A lot. And he has no idea. He's trying to tell you straight up how you can buy a $100,000 watch. A watch more expensive than many people's houses, okay? He's trying to like announce, and I know people like in the US houses are more expensive. There's places elsewhere in the world, okay? But he's gonna just describe how he has gone and presumably bought the jewelry, how he's paying for this like house he's renting, all of this. Just wait, because it's so bad, and it gets worse and worse.
That you never actually had to pay back.
Oh, he's gonna show us how to buy it and then never pay it back.
Using business credit like this, that you never actually had to pay back. Not to the average person, guys. This sounds crazy, but any business owner knows how this works. You know how personal credit works.
I'm a business owner. I own a few businesses. Walk me through it, because I'm not sure what he's about to say.
Let's say, for example, you'll get a car or a credit card in your personal name. You're personally held responsible for that. So if you were to go get a credit card in your personal name and you were to go max the card out, you're going to be held liable. And if you don't make that payment back, the bank could come and sue you. Now, what
I mean, yeah.
What makes us different about business credit? With business credit, you are not personally held responsible for that line of credit.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that? Okay, what he's basically trying to describe and what he's gonna use as a defense for all of this is a gross misunderstanding of like corporate protections, okay? When you, in the US, you can file like, let's just say this is me. Yay. And then I can make all of these LLCs, which are just limited liability companies, basically limited liability corporations, whatever. And so you can build up all of these. And then if something happens where this one gets sued or there's an injunction against it, there's just something that happens with this guy, in theory, that's shielded, or rather I'm shielded from like people going after this LLC being able to come in and go after me because it's a separate thing. So you can sue this company, but you're not going to get over to me because they're separate. The problem is that only works. There's something called the corporate veil you might have heard of. The corporate veil only exists so long as you have done pretty much everything by the books, okay? Like you have to, of course, be paying all of your taxes. You have to treat your business as a separate thing. You have to demonstrate your business is a separate thing that's doing independent operations from what you would be doing in your personal life. If I, for example, have an LLC and then I go and I put like my mortgage on it, or I go and I put like all of my clothes and I'm buying all of my regular day-to-day clothes, and then me and the kids go off to the movies and I put the movies on the company card and all this. What I'm doing is I'm like, that pierces the corporate veil. That tears it open because I'm not treating the business as a separate entity from myself. You know what else would suggest that you're not treating your business as a separate entity from yourself? If you bought a freaking watch.
So let's say, for example, how I got this watch. I was able to open a business that I didn't really give a shit about.
Okay, that's okay. So he's starting to confess. Buckle up.
I went and opened business credit cards in that account. I then proceeded to go on, buy this for $100,000. I'm going to turn around and sell it to a jeweler for $80,000 in cash.
Okay, so real quick. He's saying that he went and got American Express cards, which earlier you saw him hold those up. The thing about Amex cards, I have a few of these. They don't have credit limits, which is weird if you've never had a credit card like that. But basically, there's no limit to what you can spend on these. You could just keep going. Okay. My old boss literally built his like multi-million-dollar house charging only this, like his whatever Amex Platinum, whatever. So, like these things are usually a little expensive. They have like a $500 annual fee. Like they're expensive cards, but they have really nice rewards. And if you have good enough income, it ends up paying for itself. And one of the perks of having no credit limit is that you can basically do whatever you want. Like you could just walk up and buy a $50,000 Rolex on it one day, and it would, in theory, be fine. They can block certain charges, but honestly, I have not come across a charge that they would block. So presumably this is how he's doing it, is he opened these Amex business cards, business credit cards, underneath multiple LLCs like I was describing. So if he's got all these, he's saying that he went and opened up like a separate card for each of these. And then when this card maxes out, because he spends 100,000 on this guy, he just goes and shutters the business, doesn't ever pay this back, shuts the business down, never pays taxes on it. It never had income. It never did anything. And then he walks away and boom. Yeah, that debt was for that business. That business doesn't exist. So I'm good. But again, there's only a shield here if nothing has pierced that corporate veil. And buying a watch is something that would. And then also making a freaking TikTok video describing how you never gave a crap about the business and how you understand that you're never going to pay it back. He says you don't give a crap about it and you don't have to pay it back. That is fraud, ladies and gentlemen. That is fraud.
To a jeweler for $80,000 in cash, which
now what he just said is another bullet pointed felony. I'm pretty sure, allegedly, of course. What he's saying is that he's going to buy this watch for $100K, not even keep it, but he's going to then take this, sell it for $80, and then he's going to pocket that $80,000. That's not just a piercing the corporate veil. That is like a samurai sword going straight through it. There's no veil left. The veil is dead. He murdered it.
Gives me the cash. I'll file bankruptcy on the company. I'll never have to actually pay it back because I'm not personally liable.
That little swallow, he thinks he's so smart. He thinks he's brilliant.
In cash, which now gives me the cash. I'll file bankruptcy on the company.
Brilliant.
I'll never have to actually pay it back.
So smart.
Because I'm not personally liable for that American Express card.
Sure
it's
are.
all liable underneath my business. It's all weird to explain in one video, but guys, if you're interested in getting involved in this and you can use some extra easy money now, I want you to go to Instagram and
yeah, thank you for blocking that off. Yeah, of course he's got Instagram and he's probably selling a course or two. Now, to be fair to everybody involved, I'm pretty sure that this guy doesn't have any money. I don't think he's doing anything. My guess would be he's got rich parents that probably own this house and that they've bought him whatever he wants. And then he has that stuff and then he just makes up stuff because he's a dumbass. And then he tries to make it out like he made this money and he's done all of this because he's super savvy. But what's terrifying is that he put this out, and I know you guys are smart because you of course follow this channel, but many young people would fall for this and could end up trying this, which is why I think it's important that we make good fun of this. Now he posted a follow-up. Do you want to see the follow-up?
Serious.
The follow-up is basically just, it's a prank, bro, lol.
The funniest part about this whole video is how many of you guys thought I was being serious. You had to be fucking stupid to believe that you can open a brand new business, get American Express, and be able to spend $100,000 without any history on the business or any of that kind of shit. I was trolling another TikTok video I saw, and y'all blew it up like I knew what fucking happened. And now everyone's commenting, fraud this, fraud that, fraud this, but there's no proof of me for anything because it was all complete bullshit.
X to doubt on that one. Don't buy that for a second. It almost sounds like he's reading off word for word what people are saying. Like,
I thought I was being serious. You had to be fucking stupid to believe.
And then what he's about to describe was probably a comment saying, bro, that doesn't really work because you can't just get an Amex without any history of income, blah, blah, blah.
That you can open a brand new business, get American Express, and be able to spend $100,000 without any history on a business or anything.
Also, is that watch $100,000? Can you imagine spending 100 G's on a stupid looking watch like that? Man, I cannot fathom it. I've said for a while, like once my net worth passes $1 million, I will like reward myself for years and years and years of work. And I'm going to get myself a basic ass Rolex, not like a $100,000 Rolex, but like, you know, the $5,000 or $6,000 Rolex that I can keep and pass down to my kids and stuff. Cause I just think that that's really cool. Having a really, really nice watch and timepiece. But I understand that that's outrageous. But like I said, it's only something I want to do once I reach a certain threshold in my life. But buying a stupid little, like this looks, you know what this looks like? I know exactly what this looks like. Hold on. Do you guys remember back in like 2000, probably 5 at McDonald's? They had these watches that were given away inside of the Happy Meals. You remember these? Dude, these things were so badass. These things were awesome. Oh man, I thought it was so cool having those. I remember wearing those around too. Oh man, that's basically what this looks like to me. That's what that is. Oh, Jacob still has them? Dude, that's awesome. It's freaking awesome. Oh man. I that's what that looks like to me, but who knows? Maybe if I were a business savant like this guy and I just had all of the Amex credit cards to commit fraud with, maybe I would go and buy a watch like that. Jeez, dude. But that, I mean, again, that just, it makes me think that he probably just has rich parents and then he was trying to make it look like he was a really smart business guy that had all of these strategies. And clearly, I mean, nobody thinks that this guy's actually playing 4D chess and convinced everybody to buy into a prank. It's a prank, bro. It's a prank. Just confess to committing multiple felonies, but whatever. Lol, got you. Oh god. And I'll be real, guys. I got the business Amex. I got all that stuff. Shut up. I got all that stuff, and I did not. I really did not struggle that much to get them. Like, I think the business in its current form was in operation for, I think 45 days or something before I was able to get it. And like I said, there's no credit limit. It was a little scary how easy it was to get, but still. Anyway, Luke ordered all the Yoda watches. Yeah, for real. Sounds good, Nell. Thanks for coming by, my friend. Thank you. Good to see you. It's not fraud if you can't pay it back, right? Seems to be his going theory. Seems to be what he's going with. Oh man, but it's just so cringe. It's so cringe. But there are people who actually believe that, who will buy into it. And it's just so painful. You want to see another super painful? Like, bear in mind, guys, this is kind of what I envision this new second, I guess third channel to be. Is it will be a good amount of like reacting to this brain dead TikTok influencer finance stuff, because so much of it is just asinine. And then we are also eventually going to be, it's probably going to take a few weeks to rev up, but we're also going to be doing some original series and stuff that I've wanted to do, which is just, it's just good fun, because I enjoy this stuff. I find it really funny and entertaining, and so hopefully you guys find it funny and I can't talk today. Jeez. Funny and entertaining. Yeah, I can't wait for the OnlyFans. Dude, for real. How many of you guys in chat have seen Wolf of Wall Street? If you've seen that, you remember a scene where Leonardo DiCaprio comes in and the whole premise is like, sell me this pencil. It's like a whole bit, right? You're about to witness one of the most painful 39 seconds of your life, okay? This is going to be miserable. Because it's a guy that thinks he understands that whole concept and really thinks he's brilliant. And he's shot. Spoiler, he's not. He's just not. Get ready, okay?
Give me this pencil.
Why do you need this pencil?
Why don't you tell me? You're selling it to me.
You don't want a pencil?
I don't know. Do I need one?
Do you have something to write with?
Yeah, you got that Sharpie over there.
Then why would you need this pencil?
I have no idea. You tell me.
I wouldn't sell you this pencil if you didn't need it.
Well, I guess I don't need it then.
How are you supposed to erase stuff with that Sharpie?
I guess I can't.
Right, so you would need a pencil with an eraser, wouldn't you?
I might.
Buy this pencil for me.
How much is it?
$2.
I want to think about it.
It's too bad. What if you write something down right now and you needed to erase it? You wouldn't be able to do it with that Sharpie.
Just throw it away.
Throw what away?
Throw the paper away.
Then you just wasted a piece of paper.
All right, well, how much is it?
50 cents.
All right, bet. I'll buy it.
I learned a lot. Oh my God. Oh, and they unironically say bet as well. If I'm doing business with anybody and they say bet, I'm backing out of the deal. I'll tell you that right now.
It's a piece of paper.
All right, well, how much is it?
50 cents.
All right, bet.
All right, bet. I'll buy it. I don't think anybody with a net worth above like 200 grand would ever use the word bet. Like in the context of a business negotiation specifically. If you're hanging out with your friends, who gives a crap? But like, I'm just imagining sitting in like one of those conference rooms at the office and like sit down across from somebody like, hey, we can offer you $2.5 million for your building. You're going to get a nice $500,000 payout. We can 1031 exchange you into another property we've got lined up for you. It's going to be awesome. What do you think? Bet. I can't fathom it. Because usually you just end up with like really whiny rich people being like, can you show me the spreadsheet again? And it's never this easy. Also, do people still wear white socks with suits? Is that a thing? Like, it's a nice suit. I'll give him credit. It's a nice suit. I don't know why you'd wear white, like Nike socks with it, like cotton socks. Just every part of this is just a journey. Adversity Kings. Wow, man. And they have the prime bottles, a random chess set with the pieces all shuffled around. Man. What about them Jordans? Are those Jordans? I can't really see. They just look like big sneakers. To be fair, I don't really know shoes that well. But I just like big cotton white socks in a suit. It looks like a nice suit. He borrowed his dad's suit. I don't know. They look decent. It looks nice. But then again, this is at like 360p, so. Just the random floating shelf with a football on it. That hot sauce and peanut butter. Like, what is this set? I was like, oh, I really want a nice clean look for the new studio set. So I ordered like these like vinyl panel kind of things. They're kind of like replacement or imitation wallpaper, kind of that kind of thing. But they stick on the wall and it makes it look like concrete, like just a clean concrete, dark gray concrete. That I think is going to look really clean. And I'm like, okay, so we'll do that. Maybe we'll have the backlighting, and then we'll have what's called a motivated light, which is what this one is. So we'll have one like that in the background. We'll do all of this stuff. And then I look at stuff like this, where I'm like, should I just give up on all of it? Should I just get a stupid white couch, hot sauce, some peanut butter? Am I doing it all wrong? Have I been doing it wrong this whole time? Oh, man. Man. You got to learn sales techniques from Todd Howard where you just get a bit carried away and start lying. That's the thing is, I think in a lot of ways, you could probably look at Todd Howard's stuff And okay, well, you know what? Before I get far enough or further along, let's just actually look at an actual clip. This person says they already caught Todd lying.
Set hundreds of years in our future. It's an epic about.
Okay, so 2021, he's saying that he's already caught Todd lying.
Set hundreds of years in our future. It's an epic about hope, our shared humanity, and answering our greatest mystery. It's a game we've dreamt of playing, and it wasn't until now that we have the hardware, the technology, and the team who's hard at work at home to make that dream a reality. We're excited to finally share our first in-game teaser, our first in-game teaser, our first in-game teaser, our first in-game teaser, our first in-game teaser.
Look at. We understand. You know how the Zoom function works, dude. It's okay.
This shit. Nigga, them chips ain't this detailed. Them shadows ain't that motherfucking crisp. Nigga, them windows don't show in the inside of a fucking chip.
They say,
nigga, that table ain't lit up in this motherfucking game. There ain't no half-eaten cheese sandwiches, nor does that gun look like that.
You're part of
there ain't no goddamn reflections on helmets. This
okay, so you just don't buy. I thought you like had a 2021 versus 2023 clip.
Lack of AA is another, and the performance is another.
Okay, I don't know what this is. Let's just go back to the classics. Let me see if I can find it. Was it just the Krabby Cat video I'm thinking of? Hold on, the song's gonna get copyright struck. There was one bit in particular though where he like goes through them very quickly. Oh yeah, this. Fallout 3 will have 200 endings. I don't know a way, unless he's like, I did hear one person try to defend this, and they were like, well, he meant if you factor in all of the possible, like, is Megaton destroyed versus not? If you factor in, did you clear out this settlement or not? Did you kill this story character or not? When you factor in all of those things, you can get it up to the 200 number. But I think anybody would look at that and say, if he did say Fallout 3 will have 200 endings, he knew what that would, like, what people would think of that. Like, if I hear Fallout 3 will have 200 endings, I think 200 unique endings where there's a unique play out of, or things play out in a unique way, 200 different unique ways based on things that you did in the game. If you're just like, oh, technically Starfield has endless, unlimited, infinite endings. Because if you put any object in the game anywhere, that's its own ending. It's like, not really. To say that seems to me to be woefully twisting the expectations of players. Yeah, everybody, as soon as I heard 1,000 planets in Starfield trailer, I knew I had to pay my respects here. I think there will be 1,000 planets that you can go to, but probably 950 of them are going to be like ice balls and rock balls and metal balls that are just for like collecting iron. And then you go over to that planet and you collect ice. And then you go over there and you collect a phlegmar and whatever else. Like, that's what I expect it to be. 200 endings. What else? Skyrim has infinite quests. This is something people said about Fallout 4 as well. Fallout 4 has infinite quests because the settlement will always need your help. And again, like, is it technically true? Yeah, I guess, but still, he knows what he's doing. Like, you can say, well, Todd didn't mean for you to say it that way. I mean, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was saying. Like, come on, dude. He knew what he was saying. And that's why he said it, because it's exciting. But like, people need to stop giving, again, the benefit of the doubt to somebody who screwed you over so badly just a few short years ago. It's so bizarre to me that people's memory is so limited. Even other creators that I respect the hell out of and that I love dearly, seemingly just like immediately throw out all critical thought because they're hyped that a new BGS game is coming. It's why we have that shirt that says, hype makes you stupid. Because it does. Like, people lose all sense of rationality the moment they get excited for something like this. Not just excited, but hyped. They stop thinking critically. Like, Satan himself could stand up on that stage and Todd could be like, and today, guys, welcome to the newest head of gameplay development, the Lord of Darkness, Satan. And then Satan would come out and be like, hey guys. Oh, sorry, hold on, let me do it this way.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. Today I'm going to be showing you how we're going to build Starfield in a way that slowly seeps your soul out through your penis.
And people would be, yay, yay, go Satan. Somebody's going to clip that now, right? But it's just because people have like no, they lose all rational faculty the moment this gets brought up. It's just, oh man. Anyway, got a little lightheaded there for a second. Let's settle back down. Anyway, yeah, Todd lies. You shouldn't believe him with Starfield until Starfield comes and they back it up. I'm amazed it's a controversial thing to say, but don't be convinced that the game is worth your hype until they've demonstrated that it is. Like, it's really not that complicated. I hope the neighbors are cheering for Satan. I'm going to go upstairs and Nikki's going to be like, you okay? You good? You good? The Nerdy Giant, thank you so much. Big fan. Just curious, have you read or heard about the Perfect Dark drama that was going on today? I have not.
The Nerdy Giant super chatted $5. Big fan. Just curious, have you read or heard?
I have not. What's going on with it? Rocky might have linked it already if it was like an article worthy thing. But no, I'm not familiar. Sounded like Satan from South Park. Yeah, kind of.
It's me, Satan.
I guess I just have a satanic voice. We went from canceled games to business douches to Todd. Let's circle back around to canceled games. Tomb Raider, Ascension, and Star Wars 1313. Oh, yes. I did pull that up. Tomb Raider 2013. Early Ascension footage. So my understanding, let's see. Check out this footage from Tomb Raider Ascension, which took Tomb Raider deep into survival horror territory during the exploratory phases of what would eventually become the 2013 reboot. It was through Ascension that the team honed in on telling an origin story through the lens of survival. Interesting. Okay. What do we got? Early footage. Okay. Very Tomb Raider-y. Makes sense. This FOV is painful, though. They really got that backwards running animation going good. Like, it's all they're doing. I get it. They want you to be able to run and then look behind you. Okay. Some outdoor stuff. Locate the tomb. Some little platforming stuff, flamethrower stuff. Yeah, dude, they've done a lot of work on this. And to anybody who's like, oh, it looks bad, like it's super early development. They're more just testing ideas. Like, does this work? Does this not? Oh, geez. Horseback riding? What? It's like big open world sections where you're exploring. That's actually interesting. I mean, if you're going to be a tomb raider, why not actually give you a big map to explore to raid tombs? You know? Maybe. Tell me you think, Liz. Calm down. Calm down. Oh, I mean this... Oh, geez. Yeah, it's like Tomb Raider meets... Oh, God. Meets Elden Ring meets... Shadows of the Colossus. Oh, dude, they have like actual terrain deformation? Honestly, that's wild. Run! That's one thing I can't stand is when like there's something really intense like that happens and then it comes out of the cutscene and the character is just like standing there. It triggers the hell out of me. At least Naughty Dog like starts the player sprinting. So then you just take it over sprinting. That works way better than this. Where it's like, oh my God, it's gonna kill me. Run! Go! Like, I can't stand that. I can't stand it. I'll give them credit. They fix that later, but... I mean, that's pretty cool. They had a bunch of, like, monsters. Oh, God. Combat. Dude, yeah, I'm kind of like bummed that we didn't get a version like this. What we eventually got definitely was way different than what they'd done before and very different from this. This feels like more of a natural evolution instead of just like an all-out reboot. This just feels like a really elaborate sequel or spiritual successor or whatever you would want to call it. But this at least feels, especially in movement, to be a follow-up, whereas 2013 just felt like totally different. But yeah, this is very, very different. Like big boss fights under the kit. Like, wow. Definitely very like, I don't know what you would call this art style. It wouldn't be like fantasy. Or I know some people say like high fantasy, but it's like low fantasy because it's got like some fantasy elements mixed in. But oh, that's fascinating. Oh, maybe one day we'll get the reboot to the reboot. Yeah, it's like surrealist horror, maybe. I don't know. Would have been really cool. Yeah, I would be interested in it. The Ascension logo doesn't fit with Tomb Raider at all. Well, it also is like straight up. It's like straight up what they called that one God of War game. So and that one didn't do too hot. Sure didn't. Sure didn't. Modern Gothic. Okay, I could say it, but it's also like surrealist horror, erotic, but that's just me. Oh man, I don't know. I think Daniel might be with you on that one. Those new Tomb Raider games are so boring. I think, like, I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to ground it a little, and I think that that's fine. And again, I mean, we're looking at this 10 years in the future, so it's hard for us to rewind the clocks and see what it was like. But I think if you're going to go grounded, by going grounded thematically and in the setting, you lose a lot of excitement that can come merely from the set dressing and from how things look. It's like, I heard James Cameron interviewed about Avatar 2, and he was like, honestly, a lot of directors will cut things from the film if they are only there to be gawked at or only there to be looked at. And he said, I've never understood that. If something is interesting to look at, put it front and center. Give the audience the chance to look at it. It's not that complicated. And I think for like certain settings, certain art styles, just certain themes, like, you know, survival horror or whatever, just those settings or those themes can be compelling in and of themselves, where they offer some sort of entertainment value to the player or to the viewer. Where like I find myself just enjoying running through Yarnum because I appreciate the architecture and the art design and everything. Whereas they set it like it's Bloodborne, but it's designed just like the small city street a mile to the east of here. Like that would be much less compelling to me because it's grounded, but it's mundane to my lived experience. It's just not that interesting. So I think for them to go grounded like they did was interesting, but I think you have to balance that out with something else. Like something else has to make up for that lack of, it's like not novelty. For its lack of novel elements. Let's just say that. Something's got to make up for it. Like The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2 are very grounded in a lot of ways, but they also have crazy, beautiful graphics for whenever they launch. They also have phenomenal art direction and very compelling stories. And then they also mix in zombies. You know, they didn't just go like grounded, real world kind of thing. Yeah, poorly done. Yeah. I was trying to find like a fancy word for it, but I couldn't dig it up. So anyway, let's look at Star Wars 1313. Jacob, by the way, this can be a separate stream clip. We can do the Tomb Raider one, and then we'll do the Star Wars 1313 separate. No need to mush them together. So Star Wars 1313, for people not familiar, because this happened a bit ago, this thing was announced a long time ago, and then it died. Basically, Star Wars 1313 was going to be the like next generation of Star Wars games. It was being directed by Amy Hennig, who is one of the original creators of Uncharted. She is like very well respected, and for good reason. I mean, she's done a lot of great work. I personally am not crazy into her Uncharted games that she worked on. She worked on like 1 and 2 and 3. I think she left right after 3. Or I think it was, no, she left in the middle of 3. I don't know. She left around that time, and I think it generally worked out for everybody. But Amy Hennig is very well respected, and she's done some incredible work. But Star Wars 1313 was, was being developed in-house by LucasArts. Very interesting and compelling. And they did an integrated development approach that involved Industrial Light and Magic, who is, again, another George Lucas company, very, very well respected in the motion picture industry and graphics industry. Lucasfilm Animation, who did like the Clone Wars and all of those shows, and then also Skywalker Sound, who are some of the most well-respected sound designers in the industry. The game's title was trademarked in 2012. The game was officially revealed at E3 2012 the following month. This got a lot of people really, really excited, and you're going to see why. A lot of this was just really, really thrilling, and it looked to be the next thing. It was going to be the next generation of Star Wars games. And if you think of like Star Wars games in the 2000s going into the 20-teens and now in the 2020s, we haven't had a lot of really compelling Star Wars stuff. We've had like the, I guess, Battlefront launched like 1 and 2, but Battlefront 2 was a total disaster. Battlefront 1 didn't have a lot of content. We've had the Jedi Survivor games and Jedi Fallen Order game. That was also good. We got that Lego game that launched last year. That was fine. But there really has not been like a ton. Not a ton. Let's see what they were showing off back in 2012, 2013 that got people so excited. Okay. Cinematic trailer, okay.
Some pretty sorry excuses for transports in my time.
Or is it?
It's got to be the saddest rust bucket I've ever set foot in.
I've seen worse. Hell, I've lived in worse.
But if it's so dangerous where we're going, why aren't we taking your ship to get there? I mean, is this thing even armed?
We needed something less obvious, like a standard cargo ship.
Like, for the time, this is very good.
I'm starting to think you brought me along just to do your dirty work.
If you think this is the dirty work, you better get ready for a wake-up call. It gets a lot dirtier where we're headed.
No problem.
All right, he isn't going anywhere. Might as well see if there's any place more comfortable on this rust bucket. It's a long way down.
Down?
Yeah, down. The rings aren't on Coruscant. They're underneath it.
No. Already, in terms of tone, interested. Graphically, for 2012, this was stunning.
Cargo lane cleared for descent to level 1313.
Catch a deep breath. It'll be the last fresh air you'll get for a while.
Fresh air is overrated.
I like the stink.
Let's see how you feel about that after you get 1,000 levels down.
Slow pan. Uh-oh. Spoopy. Y'all are dead. Y'all are done. Did the robot growl? Yeah, robots growl, dude. Did you not know that? Cringe. Like, come on.
Not right here.
You're telling me this running on like a 360 would not impress you? Again, maybe it wasn't running on it. Might not have.
Okay, get in there. There they are, covering fire.
Ah, yes, cover-based shooters. Everybody's favorite thing. Oh, God. I just love every time they have a chance to showcase a game like this, they find the one person on the team that's really bad at playing with a controller. Jump for it! Or don't. That might be a bad idea.
Get over here! They're taking the mark! Let me handle this guy!
Sound balancing is a little off, but that's okay. It was in development.
Any day now. 1 minute. Hey, toss me a detonator. Time to tilt things back in our favor.
The escape pod? What are you doing?
This guy's taking the express.
That was good. That'll do.
Was that really necessary? No.
Look at that smooth cutscene to gameplay transition. That was not a thing in 2012, 2013. Even like The Last of Us had like straight cutscene cuts. Like it was not like that. It would take years for that to become standard.
Well, I'm heading outside.
Nice strategy, by the way. You managed to wreck both ships at once.
You definitely see the Uncharted inspirations. Star Wars 1313. Crazy, right? Crazy. You understand why people were really interested in that? People were very, very interested. And then it just kind of died. Which is a bit of a bummer. Yeah, man, such a bummer. On April 3rd, 2013, it was announced that the Walt Disney Company had ceased internal development of all LucasArts projects, including Star Wars 1313. A LucasArts representative indicated that the game may be revived through a licensing deal with an outside studio, but until then, Star Wars 1313 remains on hold. Oh man, it was going to be all about Boba Fett and but basically they walked away. Now my understanding is that LucasArts, this probably, we mentioned earlier with Prey 2, this probably was an occasion where it suffered, number of employees 10. It suffered from a wide sweeping decision from a corporate executive, and it was just caught up in it. It's kind of like it was a really valuable little thing over here, and when the executive took his hand and just went across the table to clear it out, it got caught up in that, which is really, really unfortunate. But it just seems to have happened a few times with LucasArts where they sort of restructured, they changed management, and part of this was because the deals with Disney. So Lucasfilm was wholly acquired by Walt Disney Company in December of 2012. By April of 2013, Disney had announced the shuttering of LucasArts in all but name, keeping the division around to handle licensing of Lucasfilm properties to third-party developers, mostly Electronic Arts, and having any in-house development transferred to Disney Interactive. Disney has since, in 2021, revitalized the Lucasfilm Games brand as the licensor of all Lucasfilm-related properties. Basically, when Disney bought the company, they just gutted it. They said, we don't need to make our own games. We'll just let EA and those companies develop games for us. And then if we want to do something, we'll have Disney Interactive do it. But we'll just have EA do it. We don't need to do it ourselves. And so just shut down all those studios. We're just not going to spend any more money on it. And this Star Wars 1313 project was caught up in that, where this was in development. They were working on it, and then it just got pushed out because Disney executives thought that it wasn't a good investment at the time. So they walked away. But in 2021, they rebooted it, which is interesting. Who knows? Who knows what that'll look like? Because Bob Iger I guess this would have been his decision. Generally, I think Bob Iger is a very, very capable and intelligent CEO. I think he generally does really, really good stuff. At least in terms of running a giga corporation. Okay, I'm saying decisions. Oh, there we are. Are we back? We might have stuttered for a second. I generally think that Bob Iger knows what he's doing. But you notice they rebooted Lucasfilm Games in 2021, right during the period that he was no longer at the company. And he was running it when they shut down. When they shut this down. So I guess he, for whatever reason, doesn't like the gaming sector. And then it was Bob Chapek who went in and rebooted the games division, I suppose. That must be what happened. I don't know. It's really weird. It's really weird. But generally, Bob Iger really knows what he's doing. But I guess the gaming space he's not sold on. Which maybe there's good reason for that. I mean, games are very, very expensive and take a long time. So maybe he's just like, it's not worth it. Just have EA do it. I don't know. Would be cool to see if Outlaws takes the same concepts from 1313 and finally adapts them. Yeah, Outlaws is interesting. By the way, thank you for the super chat. The Nerd Giant. Sorry, I was in a rant when I saw that pop up. What's your thoughts on the speculation about how Star Wars Outlaws is supposedly Beyond Good and Evil 2 reskinned? People say the animations and ship look like old gameplay footage of Beyond Good and Evil 2. Honestly, I'm not upset about it. If they use some of that stuff, finally, who cares? As long as the game is good. Like, I don't care. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that they showed was pretty compelling. I thought that it was a really good looking trailer, all told. Coming from Massive, which is not a team people thought would really hit this out of the park, but they seem to have actually done it. I do think that there's a lot of inspiration taken. After watching all that stuff at 30 frames, this 60 FPS footage is like throwing me off. I thought I had it sped up, but no, it's just higher frame rate. All the little bugs and creatures crawling away. It's good detail. It's crazy. Some of it's rocks. But we'll see. Whatever they're able to pull off, if they can maintain this quality standard, I think it'll be really, really interesting to see how they turn this into like 15, 20 hours of gameplay. Maybe even more. But it was like the first time in a good long while that Ubisoft had a showcase where I think people left really pretty impressed, which was more than I think any of us really expected. I think a lot of us expected them to show Mirage and it would look fine. And then they might show this with like a little cinematic trailer where we don't know anything about it. And we'd be like, okay, we'll keep an eye on it. But they showed like an extended 10-minute gameplay sequence. It's wild. It's wild. And like, it looks pretty good. Like, come on. I mean, come on. Look at that. It looks mad to me, very flashy, but very uninspired. Well, and it's hard to get a taste for it after 10 minutes, for sure. I think it seems to have its own identity. The bribing system with consequence does seem compelling to me, how that could kind of pan out. I didn't realize also, this is full ultra-wide gameplay. I didn't realize they were actually playing it in ultra-wide. I just thought, oh, it's a cinematic aspect ratio, whatever. But no, they're actually playing the game in ultra-wide. Wow. I just realized that after all this time. My brain isn't fried. Shut up. Calibrating hyperdrive. Jump to hyperspace. Like, I don't know, man. It looks pretty good to me. We'll see, of course. We've been burned by Ubisoft plenty of times before, but pretty interesting. Then let's see this take off. Little cutscene action. Then smooth surface to space transition. See, Luke, ultra-wide gameplay is fine. I cannot even begin to tell you how much I want to go back to using my ultra-wide all the time.
Nothing on the sensors.
Like, I want to use it so bad. You gotta talk to Jacob. Jacob's gonna try to convince me not to do it. Everybody bully Jacob, okay? In chat, everybody tell Jacob it's fine. Every time I tell Jacob, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of going back to the ultrawide. He's like, dear God, no. He's like, don't do it. Don't do it, please. Editing ultrawide is a nightmare. Well, and Premiere Pro has weird stuff with aspect ratios where it just kind of, yeah, it just has trouble. But just like you see right here, what we'd probably do is just film it like this, where we have the gameplay and then it's centered on the screen, it's cropped, and then my face cam spills over a little bit. You know, I don't think it would be that big of a deal, but alas, it might not make sense. Hey Jacob, most people watch on iPhone or on phone. Most phones now accommodate aspect ratio. It's fine. It's true. It's true. We did for a while. You might have noticed for a while we were doing videos in the 2:1 aspect ratio. It's empty. It's empty. Good thing I have more. I was gonna show this in our studio tour and I forgot. You guys know I like these breath spray things. Okay, I just like it. Look at this. I order them in bulk and then I keep them in the drawer, and I order them maybe once every 6 months or something. But I have like an actual bin full of them, okay? Always ready to go. I was gonna show it in the studio tour and I just totally spaced it. But oh, what are you gonna do? What the hell? I'm telling, dude, these things are great. If you've never used these, I love them. A little splash of mint. Never worry about coffee. Okay, you should always worry about coffee breath, but you generally don't have to. Do you use your breath spray like Dumb and Dumber? Oh, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. Oh, man. Oh, man. Do you guys want to see the clip of the guy that had his PS5 shut down while playing Final Fantasy 16, and then it went viral, but now people are making fun of him because it looks like he was keeping his console in a enclosed space, so it was overheating? No? Well, too bad. We're gonna do it.
Cinematic strike. When the screen flashes blue, this is during a pivotal moment. Press the square button before this runs out. Square, bitch, before it runs out. PS5 was too hot. What?
That's the whole thing. I will say, I'm pretty sure you can hear the fan of the PS5 going in the background. Try to listen close. I'm pretty sure you can hear it.
This is during a pivotal moment. Press the square button before this runs out. Square, bitch, before it runs out. PS5.
I'm pretty sure you can hear it. I think it's just, this happened one time. So Nikki and I, oh, and Logan, I'm sorry. I'll get to that in just a second. I think, Nikki and I, we have a PS5 upstairs in the bedroom, and we have like a little media center, and then the OLED TV thing is mounted on the wall. So she can like be up there with like the baby or something, playing Fortnite if we want to play together or something. Except it's in like a cabinet. So like it would be the PS5's here, and then you have to open the cabinet and then you can see it and everything. But if you don't open that cabinet, it just like, I mean, it basically just is in an oven. It creates a little oven and it overheats like crazy. You only get maybe 10 minutes into gameplay before it pops up with this message exactly, and basically turns itself off and is like, nope, not doing that. Too hot. Hot damn. So I've seen this message before, but it's only when you like, make a big oopsie and basically leave your PS5 locked in a cabinet. Other than that, I've never had any issue. And I have 3 PS5s in this house. So I think I'd probably have seen something if the PS5 had temperature issues generally. But this was something like people were memeing on this. And of course, console fanboys who are perpetually brain dead were trying to say that this is just an example of how the PS5 would explode. I'm not going to show the guy because he just wants attention. But what he said was, quote, PlayStation 5 consoles would literally explode if they tried to run Starfield, crying with laughter emoji. I'm just going to leave that there. I think that is an instance of something that is stupid on its face. So, just not going to touch on that. Oh my God. Oh, this might be even more cringe than the one we watched earlier. Can we watch this? If you can cook bacon on your PS5, you might have a problem, or a solution. Bacon is always great. Actually, you know what? It is a great thing. Always make sure you overeat your PS5 for bacon. Just like Michael Scott. I like to wake up to the smell of crackling bacon. Sue me, okay? Let's see. MetaQuest reveals 4 games new IP plus... oh, really? Oh, they're coming out swinging with something like that? Oh, they're trying. You can play the ultra wide and just on OBS transform it to fit the screen and it forces 60:9 formatting. It would solve the issue and you get the best of both worlds. OBS transform it to fit the screen, forces 60:9 formatting. So do you mean just like squish it? Is that what you mean? But that wouldn't work because the aspect ratio does. Or do you mean like when we record it, just swap it to 16:9 for recording? We could do that, but I can also do that if I have the ultra wide. Just, you know, I bring the ultra wide down and I'm using that. I would just change it so it's only at 16:9, and then we just have black bars on the sides whenever I'm recording stuff, which isn't the worst thing. But I guess I'm not sure what you're describing, Imperium. YouTube. Oh yeah, I guess we could touch on this. YouTube is testing new online gaming service after Stadia shuts down. Apparently they've been experimenting with new online gaming platform mere months after they pulled the plug on Stadia. I mean, it might just be that they're trying to find a new way to take the technology and kind of make it more, I guess, marketable. Because you remember they used to have Google, what was it? Google Plus, I think is what it was. Or was it Google One? Or something like that. But it was basically Google's social media service where they were trying to get in on like the Facebook craze and the Twitter craze. Google Plus, yeah. And it was just social media, but Google. So Google Plus. Oh yeah, this thing, dude. This was so weird. Then you have your circles of friends. Your friend circles. Remember this? It was like MySpace meets Facebook, and it just was not good. It was really, really bad. It was just terrible. And they shuttered it after a while. They just walked away. It just didn't make any sense. But a lot of the stuff that they built for it, like their different community stuff, some of their like photo processing stuff, they moved over. Some of the interconnected networking stuff moved over, and they put it into different apps that they have. But maybe they're doing the same thing here where they're just going to have like YouTube gaming. You can just now start streaming games. So like if you were to watch my video on, I don't know, Elden Ring or something, you can just click a little button on the side that says play Elden Ring, and you press it, and then it just streams to your browser, and you can just start playing Elden Ring while watching the video. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Could be interesting, a way for them to avoid just totally wasting all that money on developing all of that. This was already underlined by an early March reporting stating that Google is working with publishers on new cloud gaming projects. My understanding is Google Stadia shut down, but they still have the tech. They still have the servers and everything to do it. They just shut down that sort of portal to it. So it might be that they just start to try and work on different endeavors or different ways of packaging the service to make it marketable. I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see. It is weird that they spend all that time and money working on Stadia and then they just walk away from it. But to be fair, Stadia, I never thought performed that well. In my experience, I think probably the best cloud gaming platforms are, I think NVIDIA GeForce Now is really good. I've used that one before and it's very, very good. xCloud is getting better and better. It's very good now. Back in the day, I had all sorts of weird artifacting, but it's actually pretty good now. The PlayStation Now thing, latency's terrible. Latency's really, really bad. And I don't know. I think those are the main ones I've tried. It's just, it's getting there. It's better than it was, but it's definitely not great. It's definitely not great. Twitch CEO comments on XQC's massive kick deal. Oh, I think I saw this clip. This CEO throws me off. This guy on the left, DJ Clancy, he is the CEO of Twitch. Now, he seems like a generally nice guy, but it also seems like he is slowly destroying Twitch with every decision that he makes. It's almost like a speed run of destroying a company. Just watch this, okay? Watch this. This is him when asked about XQC, which, bear in mind, XQC just signed a $100 million deal to go over and stream on Kick. Wild, like he's getting a deal worth more than like LeBron's deal. It's just madness.
And so if you ask me about Felix, I'd say I'm excited for Felix. You know, if you look at the, you know, the situation he's in, he's getting to do stuff there that, you know, in our policies, you know, we're not letting him do. And so it gives him the flexibility and the freedom to explore like his own creative expression. I know I won't say which streamer. I was talking to one streamer that was talking about doing something on YouTube in terms of a wrestling match or something, where it's like, yes, you should be able to explore and figure out what's the right platform for the right things. And so,
which to me, he just admitted and said that Twitch is not going to be the right platform for a handful of streamers, which, okay. Yeah, Twitch is not the best platform for some streamers based on their content. It's true. But it makes me wonder, like, what content is Twitch being built for? Is it being built for just generic gameplay and, like, reaction streams? Well, no, because they're also allowing all of the, like, hot tub streaming and all that stuff. So they're okay with that. Like, what is their vision? What is their ideal vision and version of Twitch? What does that look like? And I don't think they even know. I wonder if the CEO of Twitch watches VTubers and titty streamers for research and moderation purposes, of course. Oh, for sure. I'm sure. Yeah. Pop in every once in a while. I'm doing research. Yeah, I just think, like, he seems like a nice guy, but that is a totally separate question of whether or not he's doing a good job of running the platform well. And granted, like, I think one of the things is people demand platforms be moderated. Some people demand this. They demand the platforms be moderated in line with what they would personally prefer. So understandably, if you don't like seeing like videos of just like straight up porn while browsing Twitter, you probably would prefer it be moderated so that that doesn't just happen all the time popping up on your screen. There's like some NSFT or NSFW, sorry, not T, NFT. There's some NSFW tag for certain posts so it doesn't pop up while you're at work or out in public or something. Just some like level of moderation to keep the app running roughly how you would like it to be. And all of that moderation is fine. And on Twitch, I think people would prefer, and I think viewers basically caused Twitch to make this policy, which they didn't like the idea that somebody like Felix or XUC, he can go up there and just like gamble to 12-year-olds for 8 hours, 12 hours a day and make millions and millions of dollars off of it. That just seemed really, really scummy. And so Twitch basically kicked that out. They said, no more of that, whatever. Get rid of that. And so I understand he's saying like, listen, if you want to go and stream on a platform that allows all of this gambling stuff, yeah, go have fun, go knock yourself out, whatever. But it still is just a really baffling thing for him to be like, I'm happy for Felix. Like, Felix is his biggest streamer. XQC accounts for like 2 to 3% of the total viewership on the Twitch platform daily. Like, he is huge on Twitch. And he's moving over to Kick, or at least co-streaming on Kick or whatever he's doing. And he's like, yeah, I'm happy for him. Whatever. Like, this is why people feel as though the CEO is out of touch and doesn't care. Because he's just like, yeah, whatever. Good for you, man. Whatever, dude. It's just weird. What's he gonna say? I miss you. Please come back. I would have expected him to just be like, listen, we understand that he felt that it was the right move for him to make. We wish him the best of luck. We aim to be the best platform we can, and we would love for him to continue streaming on our platform as well. And we're going to talk with him and his team to figure out what we can do to make sure that he also feels as though Twitch could be a good home for his content as well. Just something like that. Just something where you're like, yeah, we're not just totally giving up, whatever. And this has been the thing, like Ludwig, if you watched his video on moving over to YouTube, then you would have heard that like Ludwig said that, yeah, you got the corporate speak down. Yeah, it comes naturally to me. I'm sorry. But Ludwig said that he went and he was negotiating with Twitch and with YouTube. And basically when he was in negotiations, he worked with them a little bit. And then Twitch came back and was like, you know, this is our offer, whatever, for X amount, like maybe 10 million or whatever it was. Let's just say 10 million. They're like, we'll give you 10 million to stay on Twitch. And Ludwig's like, okay, great. And he said he flipped a coin, the coin said, go with Twitch instead of YouTube. YouTube was like matching the offer at 10 million. So he's like, yeah, I'm just going to stick with Twitch. So he goes to the YouTube guys and he says, guys, listen, I appreciate all the work we've done, all of your stuff. It's awesome, but I'm going to go with Twitch. They're offering me 10 million. I know you guys matched it, but I'm going to stick with Twitch. And YouTube came back and said, we're going to go even harder. Okay. We just really would love to have you. And he said that they offered him like 20% more. So probably like 12 million or 13 million, whatever it was. I don't know what the numbers were, but you know, something like that, like a good significant boost up. And they said, let's just make it happen. Here's the boost. Let's give you some extra. And he was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And he went back to Twitch and he said, listen, YouTube just offered me 12. What can you do? Can you meet me there? And they said, nope, sounds good. Good luck. And they walked away. And that's Twitch's, that's the perception people have about Twitch, is that Twitch just frankly is like, oh, you want to stream here? Okay, whatever. Like they say that they really care about their community. They say that they really care about their streamers. But that's not the perception people have. And even if they do truly care about their streamers, and this guy, like I said, seems like a really nice guy, perception's more important than reality with this. People have the perception that Twitch doesn't give a crap about them as streamers. And so he's got to fix that perception. And he just seems totally disconnected from the actual perception that people have. And that's a problem. Didn't happen with can't talk. Didn't that happen with us too? Yeah, Twitch, to be fair, we came in at a time where they were just like, they've since completely shut down that thing. So there's no more negotiations with Twitch as far as I can tell. There's no more like going to Twitch and saying, even if you're XQC, there's no more going to them and just being like, hey, we would like to stay on Twitch, but we're talking to YouTube and we're talking to Kick, and what can you offer us to get us to stay? They don't negotiate. It's like, we don't negotiate with terrorists. They don't negotiate with streamers. They just don't do it anymore. And they say it's because they want to treat everybody equally, which I understand. Okay. And in another world, I think people would be much more supportive of this idea. People would be like, oh, good. Why should the multimillionaire streamer Pokimane, why should she get a much bigger cut than the little guy? Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't the big guys get a smaller cut than the little guys? Shouldn't the little guys get the big cut to help them because they need the help more? Like, that's where I'm at. I think that makes way more sense, but instead, like they just approach it and they're like, nope, we're treating everybody the same. Everybody gets the flat rate, whatever. And it's a crappy flat rate. And now people are freaking out about it. I think it's a mix. How's the restream thing going? You mentioned you were going to look into it. Yes, I am. I think we're going to try it. Maybe for Wednesday's stream, we'll try it. But basically, I have to go into OBS and change a bunch of settings because it doesn't look like AV1 streaming works through Restream. So I'm going to have to try that. The other concern I have is latency. I don't know what that's going to be like. So we're going to find out real quick what it's like. But we're going to try going live on a few different platforms and we're going to see how it goes. So do we need to have a meeting about it, Luke? Maybe with the stream mods. I think it'll be relatively straightforward. Basically, anybody who makes a Restream account who's a stream mod, I can add you to like the moderator list, and then you can like have it up on Restream and it'll have the chats from all of the platforms mixed together. So that's my understanding. But I don't really know much about it. So I'm also going into this kind of fresh. I've never done it before. So we're all going to be learning together. What's up, Griffith? Good to see you. Oh, there's a mosquito. Gotcha, bitch. It's trying to get me. Logan, anyway, I'm sorry. Let's get back to this. I went past it. I'm sorry again. Do you ever think you're being too pessimistic? I know hype makes you blind, but I think underselling is just as bad. Much love and congrats on the kid. Thank you, my friend. And I think that's a very valid question. A lot of the time when you are focused on trying hard not to get blindsided by excessive positivity, you can come off as a negative Nancy, as a Debbie Downer. It can be a problem. Like it certainly can, where you're just like actively trying to look at the positive and negative. It can start to spill over and you just fixate on the negative. So it definitely is a concern, Logan. I absolutely agree. And as for like how you balance it out, I try to just verbalize everything, but I think inevitably in videos especially, people tend to fixate on the negative, which is why negativity tends to get clicks and tends to get that attention. And frankly, people remember the negativity way more than they remember the positivity. So for example, just like that Starfield video I did on Friday, where I'm like, hey, yeah, a lot of the game looks really good. A lot of the stuff they're doing looks awesome. I think the ship customization, the modular shipbuilding looks badass. All of that's tremendous. I think that that's really, really cool. But people don't remember that. People only remember me tearing at a new one because it doesn't have in-planet flight and no vehicles or anything. So I think it's just people will always remember the negative even when you're fixating on both. And it's true for the person that's doing the talking and for the person that's listening. So I try to verbalize the good and the bad. And then at the end of the video, I always try to be like, listen, Starfield can still be great, but I do think this is a major oversight. But a lot of people, because they're so hyped up and because they're so excited, that to them is so different sounding that it sounds like you're being pessimistic because they're being so hyped. They're on the other end of the extreme that anything that spills over onto the other side of the whatever lever or the teeter totter feels like pessimism because it's so far off into the extreme, you know? Always positive, never negative. Magic Johnson. If that worked for him. In games journalism, probably doesn't work too well, but but you know what? Maybe for him it worked. Always skeptical. I've never heard a good argument against being skeptical of things. I've never heard somebody say it. The only people that tend to like really dismiss skepticism, this is just my personal experience, they tend to be religious zealots. I'm saying this from my personal experience. Most people are like, okay, so you're not convinced of something until there's adequate evidence justifying that belief in that thing. Makes sense to me. Yeah. Why would you believe something before there's reason to believe it? That doesn't make any sense. Wait to believe it until there's reason to believe it. Yeah. But the people that get offended by skepticism in practice tend to be the people who hold beliefs that are not warranted or justified. So like the like flat earth crowd. They really don't like skepticism because they are like, well, I mean, they would probably claim they're being skeptical, but what they're being is contrarian. It's different. Or the people that like are really into ghosts are probably another. So maybe not like religious zealots, though I think that's probably true, but also like people who tend to believe in the spiritual, supernatural stuff really casually. Like same thing with Bigfoot, where they're like, I believe in Bigfoot. Why? I don't know, I just feel it. You know? You're referring to gullible people in general? Yeah, I think so. It's gullible people and also like the willfully gullible people. We all know these types where they like believing in things that are irrational. I have a family member like this who loves like the rocks and the crystals and stuff. She like loves to give you a special rock, and it's like, hold this rock and it will improve your life energy and it will make you feel more loving to the people around you by holding this rock. And I look at that and I'm like, why? Like, why should I believe that? Why do you believe that? Why would this rock make you feel more loving or whatever? Like, what? And for her, she's just like, well, I just, you got to believe in something. Just throw stuff like that out. It's like, okay, so you just like the idea of this thing, and so you choose to hold to it. I don't know if she's like convinced of it, but I think she just shuts her brain off. Like she flips the stupid switch and just goes, oh, well, I like the feeling of it. I like the idea that I can make my life better by holding a certain type of rock. So I'm just going to say that it works and just not think about it anymore. I have a cousin like that. Yeah, I think a lot of us probably know people like this. It's just like willful ignorance where they just shut their brain off when it's convenient. Then you go, okay, I believe in you showing evidence to back up your claim. Well, it's so antithetical to how I go through the world, where I just want you to justify whatever you're saying. Like if you say, oh no, well, I personally held this rock when I was super depressed or something, and then it made me light up with joy out of nowhere, just grabbing this rock, and it made me happy and I wasn't depressed anymore. I would say probably there's more of a placebo effect going on. But honestly, placebo effects are still effects. So more power to you. Keep holding that rock. Doesn't mean it's going to work for me, but whatever. At least then there's a reason. But when people are like, I just hold to it. My cousin thinks his cat can see ghosts. He's schizophrenic. Jesus. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Or it's like that guy, King Cobra, that I've shown you before. King Cobra JFS. This guy, I've shown him before. He's like a well-known lol cow. He lives in Casper, Wyoming, pretty close to where I'm at. At this point, he's just a guy that gets like super, super drunk on stream and then talks for like 5 hours and stumbles around. But he seriously thinks he's a wizard. Okay, that thing back there, that's a lathe. Or I think the lathe is gone in this one. I don't see it. Maybe it's broken. But all of this stuff back here, all these sticks and everything, he makes wands and then spray paints them. And the fumes, he doesn't like air out his apartment, so the fumes are probably killing his brain. But he makes wands, magic wands, because he believes that he actually can like cast magic spells. Like, crazy. And he's telling stories of like watching Fox News, and he's like, yeah, I was watching Fox News and then I heard them announce that they had defeated ISIS, and then everybody yelled out, praise Cobra's magic. So that was pretty sweet. Like he thinks that he straight up, like the president of the United States is talking about how his magic spells from Casper, Wyoming, in his little like single bedroom apartment, that he is the one that's defeating ISIS with his magical abilities. For him, some people have said he's schizophrenic. I'm not sure he's schizophrenic. He might be, but He's somebody who just like likes to believe that he has magical abilities. Oh yeah, watch this. This is when you're too drunk to walk. Don't stream. Just don't.
God damn it! Fuck my fucking cigarette! Fuck!
He was having a rough day. It's a whole thing. Go down the Cobra verse rabbit hole if you're interested. There's like a whole thing. But he's somebody that's just like out of his mind. But even when he's sober, he thinks he has these magical abilities. And so I think that he's probably somebody that just chooses to, like, he shuts off his brain. It's like, yeah, I have magical powers and I'm a wizard, because he likes the idea of being a wizard. And that's really all there is to it. And if you ever find yourself just shutting off your brain because it's more comforting, stop it. Get some help. Mudar added you to another video. Oh, did I screw up again? Oh, you son of a bitch. Damn it, Rocky. Oh, man. He seems like someone who actually needs help, but he gets laughed at. So he's somebody that, this is where it's like, is he schizophrenic or is he just like intentionally delusional? He, when like sober and like shooting straight as an arrow, he's totally fine. He still talks about having magical powers. He still talks about, and he talks with his dad all the time on stream and stuff, like over the phone. And his dad apparently has told him many times, like, dude, you don't have magical powers. You got to get out of this. It's just not, it's not a thing. Like, you got to stop it. And he just like doesn't. He would rather believe that he has magic powers. And he's had a few moments on stream and in videos where he's let it slip just slightly, that he doesn't, or he knows he's not like a gothic bad boy. He knows he doesn't play the guitar really well. He knows that he's not going to be Ozzy Osbourne's successor. He knows that he's not the reincarnation of Mozart, which is also, or I think Beethoven is who he thought he was the reincarnation of. He knows all of this is not true, but he just says it is, and he acts like it is, because he would rather live in that reality than the real reality, which is that he's not any of those things. And so a lot of people have like tried to help him, but the reason he's a lol cow is just because he intentionally and actively avoids confronting any of his issues or failings, which is just, it's a whole thing. Cobra's definitely not faking. I think some of his stuff, faking is a loaded term. I think Cobra is doing the same thing that all of these other delusional people do, where they shut their brain off and stop critically thinking. He just doesn't question and go like, yeah, anyway, I think that's most of it. He just shuts his brain off. But he's fascinating. I got to catch up on these. Cobra is being very, very generous.
That's most definitely what's up.
Which, by the way, that's where I got that soundbite. Disco Cobra, thank you for the 20. What are your overall thoughts on Starfield so far? The fact that only 10% of planets have life and Sony tried to get the rights to it. I liked what I saw of the showcase, but I'm still thinking No Man's Sky could be better. I think No Man's Sky, as of right now, has more content. It doesn't have the same narrative content, which is where Starfield can excel, hopefully. But BGS has not impressed me with their writing and with their questing and stuff for like a decade. So I'm not too convinced that this will be magically better. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I'm not convinced right now. I totally agree. As for Sony trying to buy the rights to it, doesn't really surprise me. They knew Starfield was going to be huge, so they were, of course, courting them and interested in it. And they probably had been talking with them, and they understood that ZeniMax was probably going to go up for sale at some point. And I would be shocked if Robert Altman and those guys weren't going to Sony executives and trying to get them to throw some money at them for exclusivity. So all of that makes sense to me. The 10% of planets having life, that to me is not actually as surprising as it seems to be for a lot of other people. For one, if they're going for more realistic, yeah, 10% of planets having life makes sense to me. Most of the planets in Starfield seem to be, so if 10% have life, that means well over 900 planets that you'll explore in the game are just like ice balls and rock balls. Like they're just for resources. And that to me gets me worried because I'm like, okay, well, why would they think that there's a justification for having 90% of the explorable like area of the game, 90% of it has no life on it and is just for like resource collection? That to me suggests that resource collection is a huge part of Starfield, and I don't find resource collection very interesting, especially from a BGS game. So I'm thoroughly concerned that a lot of Starfield is going to be about running around and just finding more iron ore and then go and find Gibbleglop berries. And then we've got to find tin. And then we're going to create an alloy from all of these things. And we're going to put it all together and then upgrade our warp drive to get over to these planets where we can get this material and then unobtainium over there. And then we're going to make Captain America's shield because we're going to also find vibranium. And like, to me, it's a warning sign and a red flag. Oh, it's all the way down there. I was going to wave it. Oh, it's fine. To me, it's a red flag because when 90% of the area you're going to explore is based around like one thing, resource collection, that to me suggests pretty heavily that that's going to be a major part of the game, if not a huge majority, like a massive amount of the game. And yet everybody's like really stoked for like, oh, well, it's going to be a BGS game. The stories in BGS games are always so good, even though they're not. Did you play Fallout 4? Like, what are you guys talking about? Did you hear about Google's new gaming streaming service they're reportedly working on? Yeah, Crisco, we touched on, I don't know if this came in before or after we touched on that, but yeah, we touched on that one, and it's going to be interesting. I think that they have the tech. They just need to find a way to deploy it in an interesting way. And thank you, Cobra, for the other 20. Appreciate it. So I'm schizophrenic, but I still am based in reality. I know what's real and what's not. I still hear voices, but I know they are delusion, or are a delusion. I believe in the Bible as well, which I ask questions every day. I'm convinced it's true. Well, that's good. And again, like personal justification, and I appreciate you being open about this. That's awesome. Personal justification is independent from like justification that would warrant belief from others. Like if you were like, for example, if you have a religious experience that motivates you to believe in some sort of religious movement, you're justified personally in holding to that religious belief, right? Whereas you telling other people about that religious belief would not be justification necessarily for them. Like if I had a dream that was so vivid to me that it reaffirmed that Xenu and the god of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, if I had a dream that completely convinced me that Scientology was the way, the truth, and the life, I would then, in my mind, be personally justified in that belief. But no one else should hear me tell that story and be then convinced from me that all of that was true, you know? So I think as long as you are investigating and interrogating the world and trying to figure out what's true and what isn't, that's all anybody can ask of you. I would say like everybody is going to do that independently, hopefully. And we have to be able to respect each other when we come to different conclusions, but we should also be able to discuss how we arrived at certain conclusions so that we can help each other along the way. Because who knows, maybe you would tell me things that would convince me of conclusions you've reached, or maybe I would tell you things that helped you arrive at my same conclusion. You never know. But that's why we talk about this stuff. Scientology is stupid. It's about aliens and a volcano. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, right? We watched that. Go look up on Luke Stevens Live. Look up on this channel the stream clip of Scientology where we watched that video from, I think, Reckless Ben, where he went undercover in a Scientology service. And it's insane. Like some of the stuff, like if you ever wondered, what do they actually do at Scientology meetings when they have like a church service, but for Scientology? In that video, you see it. So just like look up Luke Stevens Live Scientology and you'll see it. It's madness. Yeah, where's Shelly? That's a very good question. Apparently the police have spoken to her, but nobody knows where she's at, and they can't tell anybody where she's at. It sounds like she's probably at some compound. I don't think she's dead, but I think she's probably at some compound, and she's not seen more than like 2 people in the last 15 years. And I think she's so far gone in terms of brainwashing that they couldn't get her to leave even if she wanted to in another world. Like, I just don't think she's there anymore. Otherwise, she would have left a long time ago. Scientology is about as believable as Mormonism. They're both very, very recent. I will say that. Scientology, I think we all can agree, is madness. I know a lot of Mormons. Mormons are some of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. They smother you with love, man. Smother you with love. Some of the sweetest human beings ever. But that is also one where I will be honest. I don't know how you could be convinced of that. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be honest. Let's watch this really, really cringe video. Okay, one more. We got plenty. One more. You ready? He is the youngest billionaire right now. Get ready. Okay, bear in mind, 5,000 likes. There are 5,000 children, small human beings, that saw this video and thought it was so good and compelling that they chose to expend the energy to press that like button and to share it. Some of these shares might be from like people memeing on it, but still. Like, that's crazy, dude. It's a Hasanabi lookalike, kind of. Okay, let's see.
Youngest billionaire in the world right now.
What's your net worth now?
I can explain this in a way that might sound crazy. I'm a billionaire.
Okay. Yeah, please explain it to me in a way that might sound crazy.
Might sound crazy. I'm a billionaire. Let's think about it. Does a billionaire have a liquid $1 billion in his bank account?
No.
Okay, so
No.
Is he actually a billionaire? No. Like liquid
Yes, he is. Because he has assets and equity. When you balance it out with his liabilities, his total equity, his assets come out to over $1 billion. It's not that complicated. If you're saying like liquid billionaire, hopefully there's no liquid billionaires out there, because a billionaire does not become a billionaire by having $1 billion cash sitting in a checking account. And if you think that that's a thing that should happen, you just proved to me once and for all that you don't know anything or anywhere near enough stuff about money to ever be a billionaire. So.
billionaire. No, I'm not a liquid billionaire yet. Probably will be mathematically soon, but I'm
mathematically soon. Okay.
a billionaire because number one, let's just say I can make 500 to $1 million a month. That's like 12 mil a year. You do
500 to $1 million a month. You know it's real because he said mil. Oh my God, he has a Bitcoin necklace. Okay, all of this makes so much sense now. It's all coming together. Oh, it's all coming together. Okay.
Number one, let's just say I can make 500 to $1 million a month. That's like 12 mil a year. You do like a money calculator since it's like a hedge fund.
You got to do like a money calculator since it's a hedge fund style thing. I don't think this guy could explain what a hedge fund is if you paid him $1 million a month.
Style thing. We're already in the hundreds of millions. And then other businesses. I'm a Web3 wealth manager now. Like I own a hedge fund and manage money for people. If I went today and was like, I have this huge opportunity, everyone give me $500,000 that can afford. Probably could raise about $50 to $100 million right there. So as far as the money calculator thing, my net worth is above $1 billion. Hopefully $1 trillion soon.
Oh my God. The world's richest man doesn't even have $200 billion. Jeff Bezos for a while did, and then he got divorced and his wife took half. So, oops. But for this guy to think that he's going to be a trillionaire soon, he's got to be trolling, right? I mean, his name is Mayo.
That's like 12 mil a year. You do like a money calculator since it's like a hedge fund style thing. We're already in the hundreds of.
You do a money calculator thing since it's like a hedge fund style thing. I'm trying to figure out, okay, so you make number one. He never gets to number two, by the way. He just says number one, but he never gets to number two. I can make $500,000 to $1 million a month. That's like 12 million a year. Good math right there. $1 million a month, 12 million a year. He really has it figured out. You do like a money calculator since it's like a hedge fund style thing. We're already in the hundreds of millions. How? There's a pretty big gap in where you started with that description of your technique and where we ended up. Pretty big gap, dare I say. One of the complicated parts. One of the most important parts. He just kind of skipped over a little bit. Just quickly. Okay, let's do money calculator thing. Okay. I think maybe what he was trying to say is like you take 12 million at let's do I don't know if this calculator will even go this high. It will. Okay. If we go 12 million, let's do 6% interest, number of periods. I'm assuming it's an annual period. Yeah. Compound per year. Let's just do 12 and then payments. Let's take 0 money out, 6% number of periods. Let's let it go for 20 or for 40 years. I mean, after 40 years, you could be passing into the $100 million range. But it's going to take you 37 years. But I guess, you know what? Let's do this. Let's be fair. If he's making 12 million a year, oh, this doesn't make you put the negative in. In like financial calculators, you have to put it in negative or otherwise it doesn't work. So for this, after 30 years, 31 years, if you were making $12 million a year, every year, investing that, the payments, yeah, are annually. Okay. You're investing that annually. Okay. Yeah. You could get to a billionaire after 31 years. Is that what he meant? Is that what he meant? Like,
and then other businesses. I'm a Web3 wealth manager now. Like
Web3 wealth manager now. How many brain cells in the like would you need to give this guy your money and expect to have more of it in the future? Probably, you know, somewhere in the double digits IQ. Probably. Like, this stuff is not that. Whenever anybody makes something as complicated as finance sound this simple, you should know that they are totally full of crap. Totally full of crap. Like, wealth management stuff is very nuanced. There's a lot of moving pieces to this. There just are. There's tons of strategies that go into it. There's mathematics. Like, if you ask this guy who says he's a money manager, if you asked him, like, okay, what is, for example, a Sharpe ratio? What does this tell me about these different strategies or these different assets? This strategy right here, believe in big tech, from Composer. This one's performed very, very well if we go back 3 years, 132% return over the S&P, which is only at 48%. But if we look at these and we say, like, believe in big tech, Sharpe ratio of 0.94 versus SPY 0.8, what does that tell us? Does it tell you anything? I doubt he would tell you. Because I don't think he knows. I think he's a dumbass. And, like, listen, I don't know everything about finance. The difference between me and this guy, though, is that I'm not going to pretend as though I do. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I'm actually a billionaire right now. Because, like, this guy performs so many little leaps and little dodges. I'm the youngest billionaire
in the world right now.
What's your net worth now?
I can explain this in a way that might sound crazy. I'm a billionaire. Let's think about it. Does a billionaire...
If you have to explain it in a way that makes you sound crazy, I just think you're not a billionaire. Because I think a billionaire is like, yeah, I'm a billionaire. Yeah. What's your net worth? A billion. pretty straightforward. I have a finance major and still don't understand it. To be fair, a lot of it is if you're using it frequently, then you'll understand it. That makes sense. But like, I took calculus back in college. Do I remember calculus? Would I be able to do like a calculus problem right now? Like, no, I don't know. I could catch up on it. I could refresh on it and be able to do it, but I haven't done a calculus problem in years at this point because I just never use it. So anyway, Crisco, thank you for reminding me. I just checked. I just spaced it. Crisco, thank you for the 10. Have you listened to the new theme for Spider-Man 2? They played at Game Awards concert. It's super good. Combines Peter and Miles' theme. Also has Venom's theme. I have not heard it yet. Let me copy and paste this up. I doubt I can play it. I doubt I can play it on stream without getting the whole stream struck. Yeah, here. But I just pulled it up in this tab, so I'll listen to it right as we get off stream. Thanks for letting me know. I'll check it out. That sounds awesome. And then Logan, Razor Fist is the best Fallout 4 review ever. Have I seen that one too? I'll look it up. Don't play it, it'll be struck. Yeah, exactly. Billionaire would not be so open about his money income. Red flag. I think a billionaire would just tell you, yeah, I'm a billionaire. I own like a third of X company. Like it would just be like, yeah, no, that's how I made $1 billion. Like billionaires, and I've met a couple, so I don't have a huge pool of exposure or experience with this, but in my experience, hyper wealthy people are actually very chill. And you wouldn't know that they're hyper wealthy with just like meeting them on the street. Like you really wouldn't. My old boss, I don't know exactly one of my old bosses, I don't know exactly how wealthy he is, of course, but at least in the hundreds of millions. And he was very, very, I mean, just a super sweet guy, but all of his clothes were like 30, 40 years old. And he was like one of the most penny pincher people you've ever met. He would come in and he only got, like, he made the office. The one purchase the office on the first floor got to make for that year was to get a new Keurig cup coffee maker. And then he would go and drive all the way to Costco and get the big bulk box of Costco K-cups to make his coffee every morning. Just because he really, really liked his cheap coffee. He didn't like people going to Starbucks. If you went into a meeting, this is something one of my like coworkers told me. He's like, if you ever go into a meeting with him, don't bring like a Starbucks cup, like a big venti Starbucks cup. He's like, he might not say anything, but it makes him very uncomfortable. And when he sees you knowing that you're not making the money he is, and he sees you spending $7 on a coffee, he thinks less of you. He's like actually going to like kind of demote you in his mind. And like, that's how he was. But he was a super sweet guy. Super sweet. His house had like 2 or 3 elevators. Like, that's the level of wealth we're talking about, okay? Like, he was doing very, very well. But if you met him on the street, he just looked like some, like, kind of 70-year-old dude walking around. You wouldn't think anything of it. And in my experience, that's how most of them are. Very few of the hyper wealthy people out there are like this guy. I've never met somebody like this guy. Even the younger guys that I worked with who were well off. One guy I remember we did a deal with, he was buying like I think, how much was it? It was like a $4 or $5 million building in Boulder, Colorado. So a nice building, you know, to buy this, he had to have $1 million cash. So like he went in and like, he was doing very well for himself. But even he just wore like jeans and then like a basic polo. Like if you had told me that he was like just a Starbucks barista on his lunch break, I would have believed you. Like he did not look like he was actually a multi-millionaire, but super chill. Super chill. So whenever you see somebody like this, they're posing, they're trying to look like they're super rich, which is the number one sign that they're probably not rich.
Have a liquid $1 billion in his bank account. No. Okay, so is he actually a billionaire? No. Like liquid billion.
Yes. Notice how quickly it just tosses in. So is he actually a billionaire? No. Well, yes. Sure is. What are you talking about? Do-do-do-do-do. Oh my god, I can't type today. My whole brain is fried. I'm just like, I'm gone today. My whole brain. Oh, but like this is all we're talking about when people are talking about net worth. Like total assets equals liabilities and owner's equity. Like this really, or like assets minus liabilities equals equity. So if you want to know how many assets, you add liabilities and equity. If you want to know total equity, you know, it's assets minus liability. You just like, it's a pretty simple equation. It's not that hard to understand. Pretty straightforward. Assets, what you own. Liabilities, what you owe. Equity, what you get. Like your actual true ownership. It's one of the most basic functions in all of finance mathematics is this little thing here. And this guy seemingly has no grasp on it whatsoever. He's just like, well, if you don't have $1 billion in liquid cash, then you're not a billionaire. So nobody's a billionaire. Okay, dude. Okay. You do like a money calculator since it's like a hedge fund style thing. Yeah, again, I don't think he would know. Like if you asked him, why is it called a hedge fund? Why is it called a hedge fund and not just a fund or an investment fund? Why is it a hedge fund? I don't think he could tell you. No idea. Lucas, the finance channel, is the finance channel you told me to DM you after 2 weeks? That, hold on. Is the hold on, I'm trying to decipher. Is the head okay, I'll make sense. Okay, I'll hold back. Did I miss any other super chats? I ran out of my drink and now my throat's fried. Which probably means I need to wrap, but my GTA 5 account has billions in it. We all know that's vodka, not like. Hence, yeah, probably. I'd probably be doing better if that's what it was. I had a friend. We did a play together, and he would get those blender bottles, and it was just like, you know, basic blender bottle, not crazy, but he would have like the mixer ball in it, and he would come in and it was always like a little cloudy, but I just figured he was like a buff dude. He was very, very ripped. So it wasn't weird to see him with a blender bottle. I was like, oh, he's taking pre-workout. He's gonna go work out after this rehearsal or whatever. And he one day told me he was like acting really silly during the rehearsal. One time I asked him, like, dude, I need some of that. And he's like, you don't. It's a very dirty martini. I was like, have you been drinking like for the last 3 weeks of rehearsals, just getting plastered in the rehearsal? Like I was kind of taken aback, and he's like, yeah. Well, it's my, I think he called it his funny juice or whatever. It made him funny, which it did. It made him really, really silly. But I was also like, dude, you ride a motorcycle here. Like, are you okay? Are you good? I think he actually had a problem. I'm going to be real. He's doing much better now. My favorite prank is to empty and clean a bottle of bleach, fill it with blue Gatorade, and drink it in public. That would actually be really funny. Oh, that would be funny. Lucas, the finance channel, the reason you told me to contact you in DMs after 2 weeks. I can ping the convo if you want. Yeah, it's one of the reasons. Basically, like, I've been putting off this finance channel thing for so long. I've wanted to do it because I just enjoy talking about this stuff. And so I was like, you know what? I should just do it. Just say screw it. Even if it only has like 500 viewers or whatever, it's just going to be fun. And I think it'll be worth trying. Like, let's just do it. Finally do it. You know, just stop beating around the bush. So I just decided, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to just make it happen. So we're setting aside the space. We have, we got to rearrange one of the rooms upstairs. Like I said, the cameras are going to get swapped, and then the other microphone's going to go up, and we're going to get the whole thing set up. And hopefully within like a week, we can start putting content out there. It's going to be really, really cool. Luke Stevens finance crash course style. Yeah, I want to like avoid. Yeah, it's my way to decompress essentially. Yeah, it's that, and then it's also going to be my way of kind of cataloging and almost like vlogging my hopefully journey to more established like financial success. Day 2548 of me asking if they're turning to the vlogs channel. Dude, I liked doing the vlogs, but they are so time consuming. It's just like it will eat up your whole day so quickly. But I think we could do vlogs in this style, which I think would work really, really well. And so I think it'll work well. And I think what we're going to call it, and you guys feel free to tell me this is the stupidest thing ever, but I think what I like for a name, not Lukey Poo, is just calling it, like branding it around this, but just calling it Even Stevens. I kind of like that, you know? I think it just works. It just works. Journey to a billionaire. Yeah, well, probably not a billionaire, but just like, I like talking about finance. I like doing all of that. And I also like cataloging this stuff. So to like go in there and be able to break it down, like as we do this from beginning to end, like I think it'd be really cool. Also buy a Bitcoin chain. Yeah, I need to get my Bitcoin chain. I need to get, what did he call it? A money calculator thing, since this is essentially a hedge fund thing. Oh man, what is going off? It's just, oh, I feel bad. Are the notifications just delayed? What's it doing? Because I don't see any notifications popping up over here. I'm sorry. YouTube chat's being weird today. Bro, hear me out. Drop shipping. Dude, oh my god. Oh my god. Sounds good, Fuse. Thanks for coming by, my friend. Baby's already in college and Luke is still streaming. Yeah, basically. I probably should wrap it up. I ran out of drink and now my voice is getting fried. But I've enjoyed this. This has been really, really good. Really good. I am going to go say hi to the missus. I also have been experimenting with these things, which are like brand new. The Vicher. I'm not sure how to pronounce it actually. They're actually like pretty insane. I haven't like really put them to the test. I've only gotten them recently, but basically like they're glasses that are like AR glasses, and you can hook them up to like your consoles and stuff, and it's just AR, but it gives you the equivalent of like a 120-inch screen when viewed at I think 3 meters or 2 meters or something. They've won a bunch of awards at like CES. They have support for cloud gaming. They have like just some crazy stuff. You can stream like even from your phone. It's pretty crazy. So I'm going to be experimenting with this some more. But if it goes well and if it actually continues to impress me, I probably am going to do like a little integration or deal with them. Because so far they're pretty badass. Like they're a little crazy. I'm gonna be real. I was braced for it to be like cheap, crappy Chinese knockoff product of like the Apple Vision Pro or whatever, but it's actually not bad. I don't know if we'll ever try the Vision Pro because these things seem like super sketchy, but maybe we'll do it for the memes. I think if we have 1 or 2 videos that do really well, or if we do one video with a sponsor, they'll basically pay for themselves, and then I can even return them after the video's over. But I think we could do like a video. I tried the Apple Vision Pro for gaming, so you don't have to, or whatever. I mean, that's got to do well, right? That's got to get the views. To me, it seems like it's just a layup. By the way, do you still want me to ping the combo in DMs? Yeah, go ahead and do that. I'm still catching up on a lot of stuff, a lot of emails and things from like a week and a half of not paying attention to it for the baby. But yeah, I'll try to get to that as soon as I can. You can just face the ceiling and watch it. Yeah, so it's just like glasses. They're a little thicker, you know, naturally, as you would expect. But basically, you just kind of sit there, and it's like a big screen in front of you. And then there's a button you can press, and then it does like the electrical whatever fading of the film. So then it blacks out the rest of the vision that you have. Or if you want to press the button again, it can clear it all away so you can do whatever you're doing because they're AR glasses. They're not just replacing everything. You can, you know, watch movies. You, like I said, you can hook it up to your phone if you want. You can hook it up to your Switch or your Steam Deck. So you could have your Steam Deck hooked up to it, and you could just be staring up in bed, like staring at the ceiling with an equivalent of a 120-inch screen in front of you, playing on your Steam Deck with it projected up there. It's pretty crazy. Do they have induction mics to your jawbone? No, my understanding is it's kind of like the Oculus Quest speakers. They just beam in. They're fine. I would probably use headphones, honestly, but they're not bad. Certainly do like manageable, but not bad. Sounds like it would give bad headaches. I thought it would, and granted, I've only messed around with it for like half an hour, 45 minutes, but I was actually kind of impressed that I was able to have like a YouTube video while I was sitting here and I had them on. I had a YouTube video playing here, and I was just like typing and putting in the stream title and thumbnail and stuff for today, and it worked pretty well. Battery life, okay. They're not like the Apple Vision Pro things. They're not going to have the battery built in or in a pack. What it's doing is it's pairing off of something else. So if you like have it hooked up to your phone is going to power it, or what they're doing in like, what they're doing in some of these pictures, you see they have like this little neck thing, kind of like those headphone kits where you have the little thing around your neck. So what they're doing is the battery is in this little neck, like necklace thing that sits just over your shoulders, around your neck. And then there's just the one little cable that goes up to the glasses. So it's super, super lightweight. And with this thing, it's able to do like 3 to 5 hours, which you think about like sitting on the couch or whatever, that's pretty manageable. And in terms of resolution, I didn't think it was bad. Like, yeah, it's not the highest resolution, but I thought it was very, very manageable, very serviceable for what it's doing. And watching content and stuff, it's very doable. And the one thing that is a downside, and I haven't messed around with it enough to know if this is like fixable, but in the bottom right and the bottom left, there's a little blurring that happens. So like you'll try to look over here and it's just slightly blurred out. Everything else is super sharp, but these bottom corners are just a little blurred out, which is a little annoying at times. But honestly, when you're watching content and your eyes are in the center of the screen, you don't really notice it. Let's see. Scuba goggles with googly eyes. A whole new hot tub stream experience. Am I right, Luke? Yeah, we'll have to try it. Apparently it supports 3D video. Again, I haven't experimented with it. What's it called? Vitur. Maybe that's not how it's pronounced, but Vitur. So if you just look up Vitur glasses. Not bad. And real glasses. These are apparently like the next generation, like evolution of that. So the Nreals were considered pretty good. These things are allegedly, I haven't tried the Nreal, but apparently these things are like the next level. This is like the Asus ROG Ally to the Steam Deck. You know, it's the same kind of thing, but this apparently, from what I've heard, does it way better. So anyway, I'm gonna go. My voice is giving out, so I'm gonna go before I hurt myself. I love you guys so much. Thanks for chilling with me. Thank you to all of the members, all of the very generous donations. That was crazy to see. Hopefully you had a really good time. I know I did. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. I will be back Wednesday with another stream, and hopefully either with a video tomorrow or Wednesday. We'll see kind of how things pan out. We've got a few irons in the fire. So we'll see which one is ready to come out and play. That sounded creepy. Much love, everybody. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.